So I will start with legal for now, okay? So how many of you have gone through this paper? Not a lot of you guys, I guess. That's the usual case. So first I would like to start with the disclaimer, guys, that this is not actually a sample paper, okay? Like it's pretty much visible that what they've done. They've just released sample questions for each specific section, but it pretty much sets the line. So a big disclaimer is that we can't predict what kind of questions are gonna come on the basis of this paper. It's not actually predictable from our end. Like a lot of dynamics can change. Okay, so for example, if you restrict yourself for the legal section, you'd see that they've asked a topic regarding current legal knowledge. But that doesn't mean that the static portion is not important, because they only had the leverage or capacity to ask one passage. So nonetheless, it would have been either of those. So a big disclaimer is that we are not actually going to restrict ourselves to this paper. However, some things are really important, which I think you must have some idea about before solving an actual paper. And that's what my intention in this class would be, okay? So I would start with legal first. Now, how do you solve a legal based question in this examination? So as of now, I'll I presume that you guys have taken n number of mocks and you have fairly decent idea कि क्या होता है, कैसे होता है. You have your own, what do you call it? Like you have your own arsenal ready. You start with a specific section, you end with a specific section. You have some sort of clarity that इस question को ऐसे attempt करना है, इस question को ऐसे attempt करना है. So I'm not going to touch up upon that. However, there are some key takeaways which you should know. So I will start with the general analysis of this passage, okay? So first of all, the passage is moderately lengthy, okay? Moderately lengthy. That is not even disputed here, okay? I would say legal के हिसाब से it's not too lengthy. Legal के passages usually इतने ही wording के होते हैं, but as there are a lot of information, this just lot of information in this passage, it becomes थोड़ा tricky, okay? So if you'll start reading the first line itself, you'll see MTP Act 1971, okay, and most probably it's about the amendment, yes, allows termination of pregnancy by a medical practitioner in 2 stages, okay. पहले क्या दिया है? After a crucial amendment in 2021, yes, for pregnancies up to 20 weeks, blah 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 blah, and then for pregnancy between 20 to 24 weeks. So there's just a lot of legal information. So guys, whenever you're going through a legal passage now, legal,
Sir,
yes,
sir, can you zoom the paper a bit?
yes, sure, I will do that. Is this better?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so when you go to legal section now, उस पूरे passage में you hardly have 5 to 7 relevant line which are actually, denoting towards the legal principle which would be required to solve that particular passage, which is not the case in this passage. This passage actually has a lot of information which is also substantial in nature, something which you cannot ignore. That is why this passage becomes lengthy. Now, next thing, guys. The moment I started solving this passage, I got to know that though the passage was lengthy, the majority of the questions, 4 out of 5 of these questions, did not even require 80% of the information this passage has. They could be solved within just this paragraph. अगर आपने ये पैरा अच्छे से पढ़ा है, आप इसमें से 4 सवाल आराम से बना सकते थे. So a key takeaway for us is that if you are looking at a very lengthy passage, okay, when your actual examination, and you feel like, okay, this is very lengthy, I should skip it. Well, I would say do not leave it entirely. Now, the biggest crux here is that the total number of questions have been reduced to 120 so that you are gonna get ज़्यादा time, okay? Now, consortium know this, that okay, you are gonna get like काफी ज़्यादा time, significant time increase हो रहा है if you calculate एक specific question पे ratio. So they are gonna put lengthy questions, lengthy passages. That's what my take is. Okay, definitely paper will have lengthy passages because the total number of passages itself has been reduced. So the length of the passages will be much. So आपको you must understand कि okay, this is their game. I will not fall for this. I will salvage this, those 4 marks, those 5 marks, जो भी easily कम time में हो सकता है, and I'll proceed. Okay. Then in this passage, abhi we'll solve each and every respective question, so don't worry about it. In this passage, a particular question, that is question number 3, was very, very lengthy and very, very, you know, tricky in nature. I mean, it was put there to make sure that you waste time. So you just see the length of this. Okay, I think it would go for like some 98 or 100 words. The entire factual matrix of this question itself. So that is one thing. In every possible passage, there will be an opportunity. There is a possibility that you will get a question like this. Okay, maybe one or two depending upon the difficulty level of the paper, but you will get something like this. Now, when we'll solve this question, while continuing this class, you would get to know that okay, इसको तो छोड़ देना ही better था. 90% है कि actual exam में you should leave these questions or at least mark them and skip these questions and come back later. Why? I will get back to it. Okay. Now let's just first start with the passage and then I'll tell you whatever takeaways I had while interpreting this. Okay. So let's just read it first. Okay. Now MTP, let's amendment के बाद क्या हुआ? Just give me 1 second. Why can't I see your chat? Just give me 1 second. All right. Yeah, got it. All right. So देखो क्या हुआ है? For pregnancies up to 20 weeks, legal termination is allowed. So what is MTP? I guess all of you have fairly decent idea what MTP is for now. I'm not actually gonna discuss it much. I'll just tell you. So the act is about legal medical termination of pregnancy. Okay. Now pregnancy is something which involves two lives: the life of the mother and the life of the upcoming child. Okay. So on one hand, you have the right to life of the child. Okay. And on the other hand, you have the right to privacy, right to make her own decision of the mother. So how do you balance such rights? Okay. If you allow for pregnancy, then you are taking away the right to life of that particular unborn child. If you do not allow pregnancy, then you're taking away right to privacy of that particular woman. So that was the big question, which was majorly resolved in our country by this amendment. Okay. So this MTPA Amendment 2021 allows that if a pregnancy is there up to 20 weeks, okay, then legal termination is allowed with the consent, okay, of one registered medical practitioner. ठीक है? अब देखो यहाँ पे you are getting a legal principle for yourself that if a pregnancy is only under 20 weeks, then you can get it legally terminated with a consent of just one registered medical practitioner. Very easy. Then we go to the next line. For pregnancies between 20 यहाँ पे इनसे टाइपिंग मिस्टेक हुआ है, यहाँ पे एक हाइफन होगा, 20 to 24 weeks. So beyond 20 but less than 24 weeks, the rules attached to the law prescribe certain criteria in terms of who can avail termination. It also requires consent of two registered medical practitioner in this case. So the point is कि you can get your pregnancy terminated even if it is lying between a period of 20 to 24 weeks. However, you have to fulfill certain criteria prescribed by the law, and majorly आपको consent चाहिए किसका? Two registered medical practitioner का. In the case of up to 20 weeks, it is only one registered medical practitioner, whereas in a case of 20 to 24 weeks, it is two registered. अब इसमें भी कुछ लीगल प्रिंसिपल, तो ये आपका सेकंड प्रिंसिपल हो गया. However, there are other principles in the passage. So if you'll read, the continuance of pregnancy would involve a risk to the life of pregnant woman or of grave injury to her physical or mental health, or there is a substantial risk that if the child was born, it would suffer from any serious physical or mental abnormality. So, what is it saying? It says that you can get a pregnancy legally terminated in case of these. So, एक for मतलब one medical practitioner and two medical practitioner वाला criteria तो clear ही है. Over that, what you need is that if there is a risk of life, risk to the life of the pregnant woman, or causing her any injury to her, like be it physical or mental, or you have another option that एक risk है child का, that if the child is being born, he or she would suffer any physical or mental abnormality. So all of this must fulfill, otherwise they will not allow for such a thing. Now who will clarify कि ये criteria fulfill हो रहा है कि नहीं? That would be the medical practitioner. Okay, that would be the medical practitioner. Only if these conditions are present are abortion allowed under the MTPA. ठीक है? In other cases, doctors are also allowed to reject requests by women. Blah blah blah. However, if these conditions are present, doctors have to provide the consent to terminate under MTPA. अब देखो यहाँ पे पैसेज यहां तक आपको काफी ज्यादा लीगल इंफॉर्मेशन दे देता है. ओके, दैट इज व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू टेल यू. हाउएवर, when you go further in the passage, you would see that there is more to the passage. Even these paragraphs are filled with a lot of legal principles. How? Now let me go through that. You will understand yourself. If the pregnancy occurs as a result of failure of any method used by any woman or her partner for the purpose of limiting the number of children or preventing pregnancy, the anguish caused by such pregnancy is presumed to constitute a grave injury to mental health of the pregnant woman. अब देखो, सबसे पहली बात क्या कहता है कि if both the partners have used any sort of pregnancy restrictive mechanism, for example, something like a protection, contraceptive pills, a condom, anything like that, in such a case, if such a device fails, then it would be considered that, okay, this pregnancy would cause mental injury to that particular woman. So देखो, आप समझो क्या कहना चाह रहा है. यहाँ पे साफ साफ लिखा है, ठीक है, इन दिस सेक्शन इट इज साफ लिखा है कि pregnancy will be allowed if it would cause grave mental harm to the women. Okay, it would cause grave injury to the mental health of the women. Following, it also says that agar there is a result of failure of any of the method used by any woman or her partner, so any any pregnancy restrictive measures, contraceptive pills, condoms, anything like that, if any of the partner has used it and it did not actually resulted in restriction of the pregnancy, then it would automatically be considered that such pregnancy is presumed to constitute a grave injury to the mental health of the pregnant woman. So automatically you would fall under this criteria, and आप अप्रूवल ले लो मेडिकल प्रैक्टिशनर का, योर प्रेगनेंसी विल बी लीगली टर्मिनेटेड. ओके, तो एक और आपको इंफॉर्मेशन दे दी यहाँ पे साफ साफ कि ठीक है भाई, अनदर लीगल प्रिंसिपल इज देयर. सो और द पॉइंट व्हिच आई एम ट्राइंग टू मेक हियर इज दैट, see, I have highlighted several section of the passage before you. Now if you notice, majority of the passage itself is highlighted. So understand what I'm trying to say. Okay, the point which I'm trying to make is कि आपको ये passage पढ़ के ऐसा नहीं होगा कि you will get all the principles in one go. You would have to revert back to the questions to see that, okay, whatever information which is relevant, क्या वो मेरे पास है? Should I solve the question? All right, let's proceed. So there is another addition that the phrase any woman or her partner was introduced in 2021 in place of अर्लियर फेज मैरिड वुमेन और हर हस्बैंड. ठीक है, तो इससे पहले क्या था? मैरिड वुमेन और हर हस्बैंड. सो ओनली अ लीगली मैरिड कपल could actually go for medical termination of pregnancy. However, that has been replaced to any woman or her partner. Okay, similarly, where any pregnancy is alleged by a pregnant woman to have been caused by rape, the anguish caused by the pregnancy is presumed to constitute a grave injury to the mental health of the pregnant woman. So just like a failure of any method for the purpose of limiting number of children, similarly, if the pregnancy is caused by rape, then also it would be considered, it would be ascertained that If such a pregnancy continues, it would constitute a grave injury to the mental health of the pregnant woman, which again would fall under the criteria A and terminate हो जाएगी. ठीक है? Cool. Again, the passage also says that for pregnancies between 20 to 24 weeks, Section 3B of the rules under the MTPA lists 7 categories of women. Women have to fall within one of these categories and meet the conditions listed above to be granted an abortion. तो यहाँ पे कुछ कैटेगरीज हैं. अब देखो ये भी बहुत सारी कैटेगरीज हैं, ये भी टेक्निकली आपके लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है. तो दिस पैसेज वाज एक्सट्रीमली लेंदी. However, now when you will go to the questions, you would see how easily this passage could be solved within just a span of 4 to 5 minutes. All right, yahan tak clear hai? We proceed with the passage.
Sir.
Everyone, all sorted? You understood the principle?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Perfect.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. 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 चलो शुरू करते हैं. At 8 weeks of pregnancy. So the first line of the fact itself tells you. Now this is how, when you are reading a passage, okay, legal ka especially, every single line which you think can be connected to the legal principle, you have to emphasize on that line, okay. आपको exam में they will not allow you to highlight or something. So you make a habit in your mocks that you're not writing on the paper or anything, but you make a habit that जो भी हो रहा है आप ध्यान दो. अब देखो 8 weeks of pregnancy. Reading this, it should strike you that, okay, this is less than 20 weeks, then that means only consent of one registered medical practitioner is required, okay. It says that a woman seeks to terminate her pregnancy because continuing the pregnancy would cause severe anxiety, agony, and mental distress to her. She approaches a doctor at medical college, okay. The doctor, however, refused termination. Okay, again, it is important for you. Now, this is directly connected with the facts that it must be done with the consent of the medical practitioner. However, here the medical practitioner has not given his consent. So again, it goes against the principle. Let us read again. After medical examination, the doctor found that continuing the pregnancy would not pose a threat to women's life and survival. In other words, the pregnant woman was not at the risk of death from the pregnancy continuing to term. This, the doctor stated, meant that abortion could not be allowed. As per MTPA, is the doctor justified in his action? Now, it's a pretty straightforward question. Pretty straightforward question. So let's see what you guys, you can just read the passage, options, and you can see if you want to. Can you try answering this question? Okay. All right.
Sir, can
Interesting.
you please go to the first paragraph for a minute?
All right. Cool. Is it fine? Should I start?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I've received a lot of A's and a lot of B's. Now let me tell you, okay? ध्यान दो. Option A says that yes, because the MTPA requires the doctor's consent to terminate pregnancy. Pretty straightforward, ठीक है. अब क्वेश्चन पे आओ. वुमेन का ग्राउंड क्या है प्रेगनेंसी टर्मिनेशन का? शी इज सीकिंग टू टर्मिनेट हर प्रेगनेंसी बिकॉज continuing the pregnancy would cause severe anxiety, agony, and mental distress to her. Okay. Now, maybe this pregnancy was it was caused by rape, or maybe she used a birth control mechanism, but it did not succeed. And that is why it is gonna cause mental agony to her. Now the doctor can only tell, okay, the medical practitioner can only tell that, okay, it would have so the pregnancy may involve a risk of life to the pregnant woman, okay, or there is a substantial risk that the child was born, okay, और उसको कोई physical damage होगा. But having mental distress to her, that is something which is possible. Okay, it is possible. Maybe rape की वजह से हुआ. So it was a very tricky question. All right. I mean, not very tricky per se, but you had to read between the lines. So on a bare reading of the fact, it says that, okay, whatever the consent of medical practitioner is, it is correct. However, it is not asking you the same thing, okay? As per the MTPA, is the doctor justified in his decision? That is what the question is asking. Now, if you'll go to the question again, the reason which doctor is giving, so the reason also, doctor ka jo reason hai, that is also provided to you. The doctor found that continuing the pregnancy would not pose a threat to the woman's life and survival. So that is the only conclusion upon which the doctor has based his consent, his decision that, okay, if we continue with such a pregnancy, it would not cause any physical harm to the women. What about the mental harm? That is not what the doctor has looked upon. And the question asks you, is the doctor justified in his decision? So if we read the, so let's go with the options again. Last one, no, because the doctor cannot reject the decision. Okay, that is stupid. We already know that he or she can. No, because the doctor needed the consent of a second doctor. We all know. 8 weeks दिया है तो second doctor नहीं चाहिए. B, no, because the pregnancy can be terminated at 8 weeks, even if there is no threat to life to the pregnant woman. Can this option be the correct one? Yes. Because why? Because it, even if there is a severe grave injury to the mental health of the woman, it would be considered a valid ground for abortion. So option A and B में B would be the right option. Clear everyone? You understand where you're going wrong? A very slight distinction was put here. Okay, the reasoning of the doctor was given, okay, that he based a decision that such a termination would not cause any physical harm to the women, but he did not delve into the mental aspect of it. And also the question asks you कि क्या डॉक्टर का डिसीजन जस्टिफाइड है. It is not asking you कि क्या प्रेगनेंसी होगी कि नहीं. ठीक है, दैट इज अ सेकेंडरी क्वेश्चन. वो तो डॉक्टर के डिसीजन पे बेस्ड होता है. एक बार को वो भी सोच सकते हो कि सर, such a question would be based on the consent given by the doctor. However, the question asks you कि क्या डॉक्टर सही है. All right, you understand my point? All clear everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
गुड. चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. ओके, अब देखो सेकंड क्वेश्चन आओ, पढ़ते हैं. At 32, at 23, yes.
sir, can you explain why option A is incorrect?
So option A says that, okay, yes, because, so what is the question asking you? You first understand that, okay? The question doesn't ask you whether her pregnancy should be terminated or not, okay? It is asking you justification given by the doctor, whether that is correct or not, okay? The decision by the doctor is correct or not. So we do agree that MTPA requires the doctor consent to terminate pregnancy. No denial in that. But that is not what the question has asked you. Okay, it is asking you कि डॉक्टर का डिसीजन सही है कि नहीं. And if you see, the decision given by the doctor is not correct on the grounds that, okay, ठीक है, आपने physical health की बात कर ली, but what about mental health of the woman? You have to look into that also as per the act. And that is why no, because the pregnancy can also be terminated अगर life threat नहीं है, ठीक है, तब भी वो terminate हो सकती है on medical grounds. Is that clear now? To the person who asked this question, is this clear?
Yes, sir.
All right. अब देखो, yes. चलो आगे आते हैं. देखो, पहला क्वेश्चन, पहली लाइन अगेन कहता है कौन सा, 23 वीक्स. नाउ रिमेंबर, आपको ऑलरेडी प्रिंसिपल से इसको कनेक्ट करना है. यू कनेक्टेड डायरेक्टली विद द प्रिंसिपल विच यू नो कि 20 to 24 वीक्स में कितने लोगों का चाहिए कंसेंट, 2 लोगों का. Let's proceed. Okay, so whenever you're reading the question, guys, the key is that you are able to connect the legal principle which you are aware of. Okay, chalo. A pregnant woman approaches hospital. Her husband died 3 weeks ago. Okay, तो 23 वीक्स की प्रेगनेंसी है, उनके हस्बैंड 3 weeks ago मरे हैं. तो एटलीस्ट जब प्रेगनेंसी 20 weeks की होगी, 20 या 21, at that particular point of time the husband may have died. Okay, she was severely distressed by his death and by the prospect of raising the child alone. She did not have any support. for bringing up the child. All right. She was also working only part-time and would find it difficult to bear the economic cost of pregnancy and raising the child. Dr. Gopal assents to her abortion. However, Dr. Shankar refuses. Can she access abortion? A pretty simple, pretty basic question. I think all of you should answer this. Yes, good, 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 good. So all of you are clear with this, right? C is the correct answer. मतलब बहुत ही basic question है कि भाई दोनों डॉक्टर की कंसेंट चाहिए. अब देखो कितना irrelevant फैक्ट दिया है. ये जो फैक्ट है ये इसको मेंटल डिस्ट्रेस होने का यहां से लेके यहां तक, ठीक है, ये पूरा फैक्ट क्वेश्चन के आंसर में यूज ही नहीं हुआ. ओके, वॉट एवर यू आर अप्लाइंग यहां से लेके यहां तक, एवरीथिंग वॉज नॉट एट ऑल रिक्वायर्ड इन ऑर्डर टू सॉल्व दिस क्वेश्चन. So you need to understand, if you look at big questions, do not feel afraid, do not be afraid of them. Okay, बिल्कुल डरना नहीं है, करना है, you will ace it. Now simple question. So it is a 23 weeks of pregnancy as of this moment. She would require at least the consent of 2 doctors, which is not given in the present case. Thereby it would be C is the right option, because पहले तो no हो जाएगा सीधे सीधे. No में दूसरा वाला क्या है? Because abortions are not allowed, which is incorrect, because they are allowed. However, here only Mr. Gopal's consent is not sufficient. She required a consent of another medical practitioner. Cool. आगे बढ़ते हैं. Damini and Nisha are two. Yes.
Sir, if in this question, like for example, there are two parameters in this question, and if in one of the option it was given that because her husband has died and that's why she's claiming for an abortion, then then what option should we choose? Like the husband died that reason, or that second doctor is not giving his consent that reason?
So first of all, if you look at the other options, if you go with the yes options, okay, yes, because Dr. Gopal has consented. Okay, that is also not valid because you also need Mr. Shankar's consent, right? Second,
Yeah.
yes, because she does not need the consent of the doctors. That is also irrelevant. She obviously needs the consent of the doctors. Even if I assume that it has an answer, okay, maybe so unless and until, even if it has an option, yes, because Dr. Shankar say erred in his decision. Okay, Dr. Shankar erred in his decision. Like, you would never have such a question, I can assure you that. But even if you have an option like that, you would still go with C, because the question is not asking justification. Okay, the question is not asking that whether the doctor was justified in his decision. The question straightforward asks, can she access abortion? There's a very restrictive, very, rigid legal principle is in question कि अगर आपको 20 to 24 weeks में कराना है, you need the assent of 2 doctors, which in this case you're not having. Even if you feel like, okay, Dr. Gopal was not correct in his, Dr. Shankar was not correct in his decision, still you would have to go with C, because as per the law, his decision has to be there. I hope this clears up.
Yes, sir. Okay.
फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन, और इसमें एक बहुत सिग्निफिकेंट डिफरेंस है, एंड दैट इज अबाउट दिस लाइन. द फर्स्ट वन आस्क कि क्या डॉक्टर जस्टिफाइड है. इट इज नॉट आस्किंग कि टर्मिनेशन अलाउड होगा कि नहीं. यहाँ पे इट स्पेसिफिकली आस्क कैन शी स्टिल एक्सेस टर्मिनेशन. So you understand, very thin, very marginal difference, but it is a significant one. Now we go to question number 3. अब देखो कितना ट्रिकी क्वेश्चन है, कितना टाइम वेस्टिंग क्वेश्चन है, तुम देखते जाओ. है तो बहुत इजी, ठीक है, बहुत इजी है, बट टाइम वेस्ट बहुत कराएगा तुम्हारा ये. देखो, दामिनी एंड निशा आर टू वुमेन एज 29, ठीक है, एज है 29, ठीक है. दामिनी वॉज 18 वीक्स प्रेग्नेंट इन May 2016. अब देखो, इस फैक्ट में तुम्हें दो चीजें मिल रही हैं विच इज इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर यू टू सॉल्व दिस क्वेश्चन. नाउ फर्स्ट वन इज कनेक्टेड टू द लीगल प्रिंसिपल 18 वीक्स वाला, ओके, कि भाई अंडर 20 है. Second one also says that she was pregnant in 2016. Now, the amendment under the act came in the year 2021 as per the passage. Okay, देखो ये लाइन देखो पैसेज वाली कहाँ गई. देखो, आफ्टर अ क्रूशियल अमेंडमेंट इन 2021, ठीक है, तो इससे पहले अमेंडमेंट नहीं थी. तो क्या होता है कि भाई 18 वीक प्रेग्नेंट थी मई 2016 में, तो ये अमेंडमेंट से पहले का केस है। अब निशा वॉज 15 वीक्स एंड 3 days प्रेग्नेंट इन फेब 2022, ठीक है, ये अमेंडमेंट के बाद है। Both their pregnancies occurred because the emergency contraceptive pill did not prevent pregnancy. Up, another thing you should try to connect. The moment you've read this line, it should strike your mind that it is connected to the principle that after the amendment, post the amendment, if a medical, if a birth restrictive mechanism, if a birth prevention mechanism is there and it did not actually work, that would also constitute to be mental agony under the act. ठीक है, अब देखते हैं। दामिनी got married in 2019, ठीक है। अब देखो अनदर फैक्ट, अब यहां पे देखो एज ए लॉयर हाउ यू वुड थिंक कि भाई मैरिज हुई थी दामिनी की 2019 में and she was pregnant in 2016, so she was not married during her first pregnancy. She was not married during her first pregnancy. And if you would notice, if we go through the passage, it says that only after the amendment, the phrase any woman or her partner was introduced. See, the phrase any woman or her partner was introduced in 2021. अर्लियर फेज क्या था भाई? अर्लियर फेज क्या था? मैरिड वुमेन और हर हस्बैंड, मैरिड वुमेन और हर हस्बैंड। सो अंडर द ग्राउंड ऑफ मेंटल हेल्थ she cannot go for abortion because she was not pregnant out of a legally wedlock marriage. You understand what I'm trying to say? अब ये भी अभी देखो बहुत ट्विस्ट आएगा इस कहानी में, ठीक है? यहां तक क्लियर है सबको? अब देखो निशा क्या है, निशा स्टिल अनमैरिड है, डजंट मैटर बिकॉज द एक्ट नाउ प्रोवाइड्स फॉर इट. दामिनी एंड निशा अप्रोच द मेडिकल प्रोवाइडर सीकिंग टर्मिनेशन on May 24, 2016 and March 2022 respectively. In the light of the above, consider the following statements. Now you have these statements. ठीक है, अभी तक क्वेश्चन नहीं पूछा है तुमसे, अभी तुम्हें स्टेटमेंट्स दिए. नाउ लेट्स गो थ्रू द स्टेटमेंट्स. Damini and Nisha will be denied abortions. Nisha will obtain an abortion. Damini will not. Damini and Nisha will obtain abortions. Damini will obtain an abortion. Nisha will not. अब पहले हम ये समझते हैं कि कौन कौन सी स्टेटमेंट इसमें से सही है, ठीक है? Damini and Nisha will be denied abortions. So who thinks? Now I'm not asking for the answer, guys. Tell me which of the following statements are correct. So Damini and Nisha will be denied abortions. Is that so? Will they be denied? No, right? No. False, right? Then Nisha will obtain an abortion. Is that the case?
True.
That is very much possible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, right? Last, let's read the third line. Damini and Nisha will obtain abortions. Not possible. Damini is not falling under that, the ambit of the act. Fourth, Damini will obtain an abortion. यहां भी सही नहीं है. अब देखो, सिर्फ स्टेटमेंट नंबर 2 इज करेक्ट, ठीक है? सिर्फ ये स्टेटमेंट करेक्ट है, इतना तुम्हें पता चल गया. अब देखते हैं क्वेश्चन क्या कहता है. Which of the following statements is true? So it is not asking you. अब देखो यहां पे आपको दिख रहा है कि सेकंड वाले इंफॉर्मेशन ट्रू है, बट यहां पे क्या कह रहा है कि इनमें से कौन सी ट्रू होगी. ये कहता है सेकंड एंड थर्ड आर ट्रू, नहीं सही हो सकता. सेकंड इज फॉल्स, नहीं सही हो सकता. सेकंड, थर्ड एंड फोर्थ आर ट्रू, नहीं सही हो सकता. फर्स्ट, थर्ड एंड फोर्थ आर फॉल्स. नाउ वी जस्ट सॉ that out of this passage only the second statement is the correct one. These are false. That is why that would be your answer. Is this clear? Perfectly clear to everyone?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
The options
see,
once more.
how lengthy this thing was, right? देखो, अब इस क्वेश्चन को ये बहुत ज्यादा ट्रिक कर सकते थे, बहुत ज्यादा ट्रिक कर सकते थे अगर यहां पे ये एक ऑप्शन डाल देते 2 इज फॉल्स की जगह, ठीक है? नन ऑफ द अबव, अगर ये डाल देते हैं तो ये थोड़ा ट्रिकी होता, बिकॉज अब आपको बताना है कि कौन कौन से ट्रू हैं, कौन कौन से इनमें से कौन कौन सी ट्रू है. अब देखो ये फॉल्स है, ये तुम्हें पता है, बट योर माइंड विल ओनली सी कि अच्छा ये वाली स्टेटमेंट हमें देखनी है. ऑप्शन में कहीं भी होगा ना कि ओके statement 2 is correct, statement 2 is true, you would go mark that answer. Your mind would be looking for such an option that okay, statement 2 is correct. But अगर statement 2 correct है तो vice versa statement 3 would also be correct because ये connected हैं. अब ये true है तो इसका मतलब ये सारे false हो गए. तो ऐसे ही आपको खेलेंगे. एंड मेजरली आप देखोगे तो बहुत सारे प्रिंसिपल्स इन्वॉल्व थे. ओके, पहले टाइम इन्वॉल्व था कि अमेंडमेंट नहीं आई है, दोनों का वीक इन्वॉल्व था. ओके, मेंटल एगनी इन्वॉल्व थी, ये वाला मैकेनिज्म इन्वॉल्व था, हर मैरिज वाज इन्वॉल्व, हर बीइंग married and unmarried was involved, so a lot of the principles were involved, and that is why it was a tricky question. Moreover, it was very lengthy in nature. So my understanding to the question would be कि अगर आपको ये एक बार की रीडिंग में क्लियर नहीं हो रहा है, if you feeling tricky or tricked by such a question, you may avoid it. शुरू के दो कितने इजी थे, ठीक है, बहुत जल्दी जल्दी हो गई, ये थोड़ा लेंदी था. यहां तक क्लियर है? वी प्रोसीड गाइस?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
परफेक्ट,
Yes, sir.
परफेक्ट.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you so much. Okay. Now we go to question number 3.4. Okay, let's see. A woman is 21 weeks pregnant. Again, तुरंत connect कर लो principle से, ठीक है? And by the way, I'm using Hindi in between. Is that fine? Is there any problem with anyone? You can just drop a text, okay? I'll stop. I'll go English 100%. Okay, perfect. Cool. A woman is 21 weeks pregnant. So medical examination by a 5-member medical board found the following. ठीक है भाई, बहुत ज्यादा लोग थे, 5 मेंबर का बोर्ड ही था पूरा पूरा, तो इनको ये फॉलोइंग मिली. The woman is perfectly healthy. ठीक है. Continuing of pregnancy does not pose any threat to her health or life. The fetus presents a minimal chance of Strobe's disease. Fetuses with Strobe's disease have high chances of survival. Very nice. Okay. So again एक कीवर्ड मिला क्या, हाई चांसेस ऑफ सर्वाइवल. तो ये पढ़ते ही आपको दिमाग में ये वाली लाइन आनी चाहिए थी कि देयर इज अ substantial risk that if the child was born it would suffer from any serious or physical or mental abnormality. यहाँ पे क्या कह रहे हैं कि बहुत हाई चांस है कि वो बहुत अच्छे से सर्वाइव कर जाएगा. With appropriate support, such a child होगा, can live like other children without quality of life being severely impaired. तो कोई substantial risk नहीं है इनकी लाइफ में. You understand? ये आपको पूरा पूरा आंसर दे रहा है. Now let's see what the question asks. Will the MTPA allow the pregnant woman to terminate her pregnancy? बहुत easy question है. Let's go with the options. Yes, because the fetus had a disability and the MTPA allows the termination. Okay, let's see. No, देखो यहाँ पे क्या बोलता है, fetus has a disability, but the MTPA Act says that disability must be substantive in nature. It must result in the child not being able to live his or her life at all. It must impair such a life severely. यहाँ पे स्ट्रोब्स डिजीज में ऐसा कुछ नहीं हो रहा है, तो ये तो गलत बात है. तो यस वाले तो ऑप्शन आप डिस्कार्ड ही कर सकते हो कि प्रेगनेंसी तो अलाउ होनी चाहिए, नहीं होनी चाहिए, टर्मिनेशन तो अलाउ नहीं होना चाहिए, तो यस वाले ऑप्शन तो तुरंत डिस्कार्ड कर दो. बी देखते हैं. नो, because the woman is perfectly healthy and continuing of pregnancy does not pose a threat to her life. Okay. No, because conditions of abortions under the MTPA have not been met. Now you answer between B and D. Give me the answer. Give me the best answer you guys think it is. All right. So I've seen a lot of D's, which is absolutely correct, but I saw a couple of B's too. So I'll just clarify. Whenever you're answering a question, okay, sometimes both the option seems correct to you. ऐसा नहीं है कि B incorrect option है. अगर यही D की जगह none of the above होता ना, तो आप B की तरफ जा सकते थे. I'm not audible. Am I not audible to everyone?
So you are audible. You are.
My voice is perfectly fine. All right. अब देखो, इन क्वेश्चंस में क्या होता है ना, देयर इज दिस सबसेट, देयर इज दिस सुपरसेट. अब मैथ्स में अगर सेट पढ़ा होगा तो थोड़ा आइडिया होगा. देखो, ये जो बी ऑप्शन है ना भैया, जो बी ऑप्शन है वो एक सबसेट है. ठीक है, वो सबसेट किसका है? ऑप्शन डी का. नाउ व्हाट डू आई मीन बाय दिस? ऑप्शन डी इज वेरी वाइड इन नेचर. इट इज वेरी वाइड इन नेचर. सी, बी क्या है? बी इज वन ऑफ द ग्राउंड्स. बी इज वन ऑफ द ग्राउंड्स, ठीक है. हाउएवर इससे ज्यादा भी ग्राउंड्स होते हैं जहां पे अलाउ किया जाता है. इससे ज्यादा भी ग्राउंड्स होते हैं इन विच यू मस्ट अलाउ, ओके, फॉर यू मस्ट अलाउ, सॉरी, द डॉक्टर्स मस्ट से कि भाई प्रेगनेंसी अलाउ नहीं होगी, ठीक है. अगर चाइल्ड के भी हेल्थ को कोई हार्म नहीं हो रहा है तब भी प्रेगनेंसी अलाउ नहीं होगी. Now, if you read option D, it says that conditions for abortions under the MTPA have not been met. It says conditions for abortion, which means that every single possible condition enlisted under the act, that is not being fulfilled. Thereby, we cannot allow for such an abortion. That is the reason. So it is having a wider scope. ठीक है? क्या हो रहा है? अरे यार, just one second. क्या हो रहा है? ये वाली जो बात है ना, ये बी वाली, ये इसके अंडर ऑलरेडी आ जा रही है. ये चीज इस बी वाली बात को भी कवर कर रहा है एंड कुछ अलग बात भी कवर कर रहा है, लाइक द चाइल्ड थिंग. दैट इज व्हाई ऑप्शन डी इज अ बेटर चॉइस एज कंपेयर टू ऑप्शन बी. क्लियर दिस क्वेश्चन एवरीवन? चलो लास्ट क्वेश्चन देखते हैं. अब देखो, लास्ट क्वेश्चन भी लेंदी है, ठीक है. तुम देखोगे 3.3 लेंदी था, 3.5 भी काफी लेंदी है. क्या होता है लास्ट क्वेश्चन में? They are giving you further legal principles. So you prepare for such a questions. Now this is also one of the takeaways from this, okay? जो मैं आपको बताना चाहता था. Further legal principles are given. क्या देखो, अब पहले पढ़ते हैं. Consider the following statement. Section 4A of the MTPA. Section 4A आपको दिया हुआ है, ठीक है. No pregnancy of woman who has not attained the age of 18 years or who, having attained the age of 18 years, is a mentally ill person shall be terminated except with the consent in writing of one of her guardian. ठीक है. अब पूरे पैसेज में कहीं ये बात नहीं की गई थी कि इफ इट इज कंसर्निंग द प्रेगनेंसी ऑफ द माइनर देन द consent of the guardian is required. Okay, in the entire passage there was not even a mentioning of a minor or any guardian. So this is a new legal principle which is given to you, which is restricted to this particular passage, to this question. Okay, ये प्रिंसिपल आपको और किसी क्वेश्चन में नहीं लगाना था, ये सिर्फ इस क्वेश्चन पे होगा. सो यू एक्सपेक्ट सच क्वेश्चंस इन योर एक्चुअल एग्जामिनेशन इन विच यू वुड सी की ठीक है, सब क्लियर है, ठीक है, पैसेज तो क्लियर है, बट यू आर ऑल्सो गेटिंग several legal principles from the options. Okay, so you be prepared for that. Next we see section 2A of the act. Okay, it says that it defines guardian. So guardian means a person having the care of the person of a minor, or a mentally ill person. ठीक है. अब यहां से लेके यहां तक आपको दो लीगल प्रिंसिपल दे दिए. अब क्वेश्चन स्टार्ट होता है. A 12-year-old girl became pregnant as a result of rape. A 12-year-old girl became pregnant as a result of rape. ठीक है, उसका रेप हो गया. ये पढ़ते ही आपको समझ में आ जाना चाहिए कि उसको मेंटल एगनी कॉज होगी. इट विल कॉज मेंटल एगनी टू दैट पर्टिकुलर चाइल्ड. शी वॉज एन ऑर्फन हु वॉज बीइंग ब्रॉट अप बाय हर आंट एंड अंकल. अब देखो एक्ट क्या कहता है कि गार्जियन की कंसेंट चाहिए. इट इज नॉट स्टेटिंग, it has not stated biological parents, it has stated guardian. Now guardian is also defined कि a person having the care of the person of a minor, जो भी केयर करता है माइनर की वो होता है गार्जियन. अब यहाँ पे क्या हो गया, गर्ल को कौन बड़ा कर रहा है? brought up by her aunt and uncle. So technically aunt and uncle are her guardian. She along with her aunt approached the doctor to terminate pregnancy. The girl is 12 weeks pregnant. Okay, everything is fulfilling. When the doctor asked the aunt if she consented to the termination, the aunt said that she did. Okay, consent of the parent, guardian is also there. Can the doctor proceed to medically terminate pregnancy? अब बताओ. आंसर सारे के सारे आपको दिए हैं. Okay, I've received a couple of B's, I've received a couple of D's. ओके बी 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 कूल। अब देखो यहां पे यू गाइज हैव बीन ट्रिक्ड, काफी ट्रिक हो गए आप, ठीक है। क्या ट्रिक हुआ देखो, बहुत ही थिन लाइन थी, बहुत ही थिन लाइन थी, जो कि मैं आपको दिखाता हूं एंड यू वुड अंडरस्टैंड द एंटायर पैसेज। यू मस्ट प्रिपेयर फॉर सच क्वेश्चंस, read this, or to be precise, read this. Now what does it say is, guys, what does it say in writing? Okay, in writing. अब यहाँ पे क्या हुआ, when the doctor asked the aunt if she consented to the termination, the aunt said that she did. The aunt said that she did. What is this? It is a verbal consent. It is not in writing. It is not in writing. Now, okay, a very beautifully presented question before you guys. Different new facts were given to you, new facts were introduced to you. Two different principles were given to you. All right, you understood the principle very well. Okay, you proceeded with the question. Now, a very chotu sa fact which is hidden, that is giving you the answer. So, as per the law, the doctor cannot medically terminate the pregnancy. Now let us go to the option. No, because the MTPA requires the consent of girl's parents. गलत बात है, guardian का चाहिए. Yes, because the aunt consented to the termination. नहीं, her written consent was not there. Yes, because the girl wanted to terminate her pregnancy, which is a result of rape. That is not only, there are further criteria, okay. No, because the aunt's verbal consent is not sufficient for termination under the MTPA. Now they have made this question easy for you. अब देखो ट्रिक कहां पे होगे, तुम ये पढ़ोगे, तुम ऑप्शन बी देखोगे, तुम आगे बढ़ोगे ही नहीं, तुम इन दो ऑप्शंस को ध्यान ही नहीं दोगे, तुम बी सोचोगे ओके बॉस द कंसेंट इज देयर, आंट इज अ गार्जियन, सब सेट है, ऑप्शन बी हमारा आगे बढ़ा। ऑप्शन डी अगर आप पढ़ते तो आपको साफ दिखता, यहां पे इन्होंने वर्बल वर्ड यूज कर दिया है कि वर्बल कंसेंट इज नॉट सफिशिएंट। तो ये पढ़ के इट वॉज योर ड्यूटी टू गेट बैक एंड चेक, ओके इज दैट सच, इज देयर एनी principle like that where you would find that yes there is consent in writing must be given. Understood guys?
Yes, sir.
Everything
Yes, sir.
clear?
Yes, sir.
So you must read. Now the key takeaway from this question is कि भाई आप ये तो consider करो ही कि passage में principle आएगा. Moreover, you must read the question very, 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 very carefully. Very careful. So Prithva asked me that how to be itna careful. These are the silly mistakes which may cover. So Prithva, just like this question, okay, consortium will try to guide you towards the answer. Now the guiding point in this question was this line, aunt's verbal consent. ठीक है, अगर आपने ये पैसेज अच्छे से पढ़ा होता, ये ऑप्शन अच्छे से पढ़ा होता ना, योर ब्रेन शुड डेफिनेटली आस्क यू हियर, ओके यहाँ पे वर्बल कंसेंट की बात हो रही है क्या, तो आप जाते देखते ओके राइटिंग वाले बात है कि राइटिंग में कंसेंट होना चाहिए, तो ये सही है, ये तो सही बोल रहा है, देन यू वुड रीड अगेन, यू वुड सी कि ओके आंट सेड दैट शी डिड नॉट प्रोवाइड हर कंसेंट इन राइटिंग। आपका दिमाग चल जाता, आप डी ऑप्शन दे देते। सो ओनली थिंग, so the major thing is कि you read and you read very carefully, and second thing is practice makes a man perfect. Legends have said it, my forefathers have said it, my father has told this to me, my mentor has told this to me, I'm telling this to you, you will tell the same to your uh, upcoming batches, kids, whatever. Practice, practice, practice and practice. ठीक है, जब मॉक करते हो ऐसे सिली क्वेश्चंस आते हैं तो ट्राई करो समझना कि ओके देखो मैंने ये लाइन नहीं पढ़ी थी, अगर आप ये लाइन ध्यान से पढ़ते हैं ठीक है, तो आप मोस्ट प्रोबब्ली इस क्वेश्चन को सॉल्व कर ले जाते हैं, जो कि आपने नहीं किया। सो यू रीड वेरी केयरफुली। आई नो इट्स अ वेरी जेनरिक एडवाइस, बट गाइज आई डू नॉट बिलीव इन शॉर्टकट्स, दैट इज हाउ थिंग्स आर एंड दैट इज हाउ दे विल फंक्शन। इज दिस क्लियर एवरीवन?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
अब
sir.
some things which I think you guys should note down, okay? आई एम गिविंग यू थोड़ा बहुत टॉपिक्स जिससे एक ना एक लीगल का पैसेज आने का बहुत ज्यादा चांस है. ओके, नोट इट डाउन. डिजिटल डेटा प्रोटेक्शन whatever you know, DPDA, Digital Data Protection Act, I think
Sir,
something
can
like
you
that.
please repeat?
Just give me 1 second now. मेरे को ऐसा एक्ट का नाम नहीं याद आ रहा. Digital Data Protection Act, Personal Data Protection Act, DPDP, Digital Personal Data Protection Act. इसके ऊपर आर्टिकल्स पढ़ लेना. I've already sent some on the group. I will forward more. Okay, so you read a lot of articles on this. A very high chance कि ये आएगा. ठीक है. जीरो FIR के बारे में पढ़ लेना. डिजिटल पर्सनल डेटा प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट, डिजिटल पर्सनल डेटा प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट. ठीक है, ये तो न्यूज में था यार, जीके की क्लास में पढ़ाया है मैंने. आई थिंक
Yes, sir.
ऑनलाइन बैचेस को पढ़ाया, आई थिंक ऑफलाइन वालों को नहीं पढ़ाया होगा, क्योंकि वो फिर मैंने क्लास नहीं लिया आपकी. जीके में पढ़ाया था मैंने. ठीक है. जीरो FIR एक्सट्रीमली इंपॉर्टेंट. ठीक है. डेफमेशन एक्सट्रीमली इंपॉर्टेंट बिकॉज ऑफ राहुल गांधी केस. ठीक है. एंड आई विल प्रिपेयर, आई एम वर्किंग ऑन अ लिस्ट. Apart from GK, I will give you guys 7 to 8 current legal knowledge का topics which you will do before your examination. उनमें से I think 1 या 2 तो आपके एग्जाम में आएगा ही आएगा. अभी के लिए ये 3 लिख लो, बाकी मैं बता दूंगा. सो न्यू IPC CRPC एंड एविडेंस पे भी आएगा. वो भी मैंने आज की क्लास के लिए रखा है, बट आज तो नहीं करेंगे हम, बिकॉज आई वुड लीव यू गाइज थोड़ा अर्ली. 10:30 इज नॉट एन एप टाइम. I'll leave you guys at 10:15 or something. तो ये लिख लो. ठीक है. Now again,
Sir,
I
Can you
if I'm
please
not,
repeat the second
Sir.
option?
can you
हाँ जी,
please repeat the third one?
हाँ जी, हाँ जी. So second one was जीरो FIR. मणिपुर के इशू में पढ़ाया था मैंने जीके में, जब मैंने आपको मणिपुर पढ़ाया था, अगर आपको याद होगा तो. नहीं होगा तो मैं अभी लिंक्स फॉरवर्ड कर देता हूँ इन सब के लिए आपके ग्रुप पे. ठीक है. आई विल फॉरवर्ड द रिस्पेक्टिव ग्रुप्स.
And
फॉरवर्ड
सर
द लिंक ऑन द
आपने
रिस्पेक्टिव.
ऑनलाइन क्लासेस में ना ऐसा बहुत कुछ करवाया है जो कि ऐसे हम लोग की क्लास में ऐसा नहीं हुआ. मतलब तो आप could you please send it in the group
ऑल राइट,
the
ऑल राइट,
docs PDF जो भी
ऑल
आपने,
राइट, ऑल राइट.
क्योंकि I saw the US visit, then the semiconductor technology supply chain, then the Egypt visit also. तो वो सब we did not have a class. So can you
All
please
right, all right. I will send everything. I will share all the possible. So you guys just drop a message to Shresh sir. Okay. 1, 2, 3 of you can ask him. Ki, sir, whatever the recordings are for my class usually starts with GK with Prakhar. आप वो recordings share कर सकते हो, okay, please. And I will share whatever material I have. Okay. And most probably I'll be curating a list of whatever I've covered and list of important topics soon, which I'll share on your respective batch groups. Cool. And the last topic was defamation, to the person who asked. Defamation because of Rahul Gandhi's case.
सर.
हाँ जी.
हाँ सर, अगर कोई 12 year old गर्ल प्रेग्नेंट होता है और उसका लाइक टर्मिनेट करने का लाइक कोई रीजन नहीं होता, वो लिख के देता है कि मैं टर्मिनेट नहीं करना चाहता, लेकिन पेरेंट्स कहता है, गार्जियंस कहता है कि हम टर्मिनेट करेंगे, तो क्या होगा? लाइक कोर्ट क्या
Parents का ही consent होगा. Only the consent of the parents. So that is what the
बिकॉज
law
इट
is.
इज माइट नॉट.
हाँ, माइनर में हमेशा होगा. That is what the MTP Act says. Okay, that is what the Act says. But अगर आपके पैसेज में दिया है कि अभी यहाँ पे जैसे अगर दिया होता है इस क्वेश्चन में कि in case of a minor, the consent of the minor is absolute. Only that is required. In that case, जो आपका पैसेज कह रहा है वो लीगल प्रिंसिपल आप फॉलो करोगे, जो लॉ है वो फॉलो नहीं करोगे.
Sir,
ओके.
sir,
हाँ जी. यस, 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 यस.
sir, the day when you take online classes for some
Yes.
other batches, can you please send the link in our group also so that we can also join, because we don't have much classes with you.
Yes, exactly.
I
That was our,
I am
that was
not allowed to do that,
question.
guys. Sorry.
मैं वही बोल रही थी जब मैंने पहले बताया था.
Guys, I'm not allowed to share the link. So you guys have a class usually on that particular day when I take online classes. ऐसा है scene. So I'm not allowed to do that. I can share you the links of the recording. That is also not under my jurisdiction. You'll have to ask Shresh sir about it. He can help you. I'm sorry. My hands are tied here.
Okay, sir.
तो अब देखो एक और बात ये जो पैसेज है ना एमटीपीए वाला, ये आई थिंक लास्ट ईयर के क्लैट में आया था. सो एक्सपेक्ट करंट लीगल नॉलेज. ठीक है. और क्या है, एंड बट दैट इज नॉट रेस्ट्रिक्टिंग यू कि आप सीएल के ही पढ़ के जाओ. ओके ऐसा नहीं है. ये एक पैसेज है, और भी आ सकते हैं. कंफ्यूजिंग क्वेश्चंस होंगे, अननेसेसरी फैक्ट्स होंगे. जैसे इस वाले में बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस हमने देखे. यहाँ से कौन सा थर्ड वाला क्वेश्चन था ना, यहाँ से लेके यहाँ तक तो पूरे फैक्ट ही रिलेवेंट थे किसी एक क्वेश्चन में. सो ध्यान मत देना. अगर आंसर बन रहा है, फैक्ट्स आर वेरी लेंदी, डोंट वरी. योर अंडरस्टैंडिंग इज वेरी मच इंपॉर्टेंट. ओके एंटायर थिंग यू मस्ट अंडरस्टैंड इट. एंड लेंदी होगा तब इजी भी होगा. अगर पैसेज लेंदी है बट द क्वेश्चन वुड ऑल्सो बी इजी. इन दिस केस 3 क्वेश्चंस वर एक्सट्रीमली इजी, वन वॉज थोड़ा मॉडरेटली टेक्निकल, एंड वन वॉज थोड़ा ट्रिकी. तो ध्यान देना. ओके चलो, नाउ वी गो विथ जीके. आ जाओ मेरे वाले पे आ जाओ. ठीक है, कहाँ पे है देखते हैं. जीके कहाँ दिया है. एक मिनट, आई जस्ट ड्रिंक वाटर ना, जस्ट गिव मी 1 minute. या इज दिस विजिबल? ओके सो
So
so the GK passage, guys, is not actually giving you a lot of idea that how this exam would be. I'm being very honest here. When I read this passage, I was like, okay, sir, I cannot see the shared content. Is that the case with everyone?
No,
Is
sir, it
the
is
screen
visible.
visible? Amrita, I guess it's your bandwidth. Would you please try reconnecting to the meeting again? I think that should work. All right. So, देखो, my understanding is the passage is not actually giving you a lot of us a lot of details कि कैसे question होंगे. Now this is a very straightforward GK topic. Okay, बहुत ही, अरे यार क्या उठा लिया ये मैंने, एक सेकंड. हाँ, बहुत ही बेसिक सा है. इससे कुछ खास मैंने बहुत ट्राई किया इन्फॉर्मेशन निकालने का, तो नहीं पता चला. तो अब कुछ जनरल बातें हैं जो मैं आपको बताने जा रहा हूँ, तो उनका आप ध्यान दीजिएगा. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल क्या कहता है, जस्ट रीड द फर्स्ट लाइन. श्रीलंका हैज सफर्ड थ्रू वन ऑफ द वर्ल्ड्स वर्स्ट इकोनॉमिक क्राइसिस फॉर मोस्ट ऑफ द ईयर, मार्क्ड बाय सोरिंग इन्फ्लेशन, ब्ला 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 ब्ला. अब देखो, again I have said this before, I'll say it again. When you go to a GK passage, there are two possibilities. Okay, one, you have some idea about the passage. Okay, you have idea about the passage. अब इसमें आपका extent क्या है वो मुझे नहीं पता. Maybe you have heard about this news once or twice. Okay, ठीक है, एक सेकेंड यार, क्या है. हाँ देखो, आप क्वेश्चन पे पहुंचे, दो पॉसिबिलिटीज हैं. आपको पैसेज पता है, आपके दिमाग में है. इसकी भी कई पॉसिबिलिटीज हैं. आपने एक दो बार ये पैसेज के बारे में सुना था, और यू आर थॉरोली प्रिपेयर्ड विद द पैसेज. ठीक है. सेकेंड पॉसिबिलिटी इज दैट यू हैव नो आइडिया अबाउट दिस पैसेज. ये जो पॉसिबिलिटी है यहाँ पे, ये से नो आइडिया अबाउट दिस पैसेज. इसकी भी दो पॉसिबिलिटीज हैं. पॉसिबिलिटी नंबर 1, you have no idea about the questions of the passage. 2, possibility number 2, even though you don't know the passage, you have some idea about the questions of the passage. Okay, so when you come to a GK passage and you feel like, okay, I haven't done this at all, तो अगर आप इस केस में फॉल करते हो कि you have some idea about the passage, then you must attempt all the questions. I mean, not attempt them, but go through all the questions. Read them very carefully. Even if you fall in this category where you haven't heard about the passage at all, you should look for this possible outcome, that okay, I have some idea about the questions. What am I saying? This will make things clearer for you when we'll go to the questions. Okay, अब ये समझ लो, इसके अभी बताता हूं ये मैं क्यों कह रहा हूं. Second thing, the passage is taken from, okay, this foreign policy का thing. Okay, तो expect the same general outcome जो आपका basic bifurcation है, economics, foreign policy, geopolitics, economics, science and tech, space, race, इन्हीं सारे के अंडर आपके आएंगे क्वेश्चंस. तो ये तो बेसिक सी बात है, पैसेजेस तो इन्हीं के अंडर आएंगे. So you expect something like that. Now let's go through the passage. So I will not teach you this thing in detail. I will, if I have to, I'll probably take a class. I'll just tell you that श्रीलंका में बहुत बड़ा इकोनॉमिक क्राइसिस आया था. ठीक है, बहुत बड़ा इकोनॉमिक क्राइसिस आया था. क्या हुआ था कि you may have heard about this news ki a lot of people started protesting against the regime which was there in effect. Then the cause for this crisis majorly was the unhandling done by the regime. The Singhe brothers ka jo pura bloodline tha, those who have always administered Sri Lanka. And COVID-19 जब आया था ना, now Sri Lanka is an island nation, all of us know that. Okay, majority of its population is employed in the tourism sector. ठीक है, तो जब COVID-19 आया था ना वायरस, तो टूरिज्म इंडस्ट्री वाज द वर्स्ट पॉसिबल हिट इंडस्ट्री. इट वाज कंप्लीटली शट डाउन. Hospitality industry and recreation industry like cinema and all, it was completely shut down. Travel was completely restricted. एक बार को सिनेमा खुल गए थे बट क्रॉस बॉर्डर ट्रैवल नहीं खुला था. ठीक है, तो COVID-19 बहुत बुरा इफेक्ट था. तो कुछ गवर्नमेंट की पॉलिसीज की वजह से एंड COVID-19 के जो इम्पैक्ट था टूरिज्म की वजह से, उस वजह से इनकी इकोनॉमी पे बहुत बड़ा इम्पैक्ट पड़ा. ठीक है, मेजर इकोनॉमिक क्राइसिस ये सीन था. ठीक है, इसकी वजह से बहुत ज्यादा लॉस हुआ इनको. एक बार जस्ट फॉर योर अंडरस्टैंडिंग, इवन इफ यू डोंट नो द पैसेज, लेट्स जस्ट गो थ्रू इट. ओके, आई विल नॉट डिस्कस दिस इन डिटेल बट आई विल जस्ट गो थ्रू इट. ठीक है, so Sri Lanka has suffered blah 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 blah. In April, it defaulted on foreign debt. The economic stress prompted mass protests, blah blah blah. That came to a head in July with then President Gotabaya Rajpaksha briefly fleeing the country. Many Sri Lankans blame the Rajpaksha family. तो अगर मैं आपको ये टॉपिक पढ़ाता तो मैं बहुत कुछ बताता, like the Rajpaksha brothers who were into power, for फिर 2019 amendment, then 19 I think 86 या 87 का राजीव गांधी एंड राजीव जयवर्धने अकॉर्ड. So there's a lot of history to India and Sri Lanka, but अभी के लिए आपके लिए इतना sufficient है, because I'm not gonna discuss the details of this passage. I'm not gonna teach you what this economic crisis is. I will tell you what the general takeaways are for you from this entire set. Okay, देखते. Let's go to question number 1. ठीक है, who assumed the office of the president in Sri Lanka after Gotabaya Rajpaksha? अब देखो, let us make that chart again. Let me make that chart once again. एक minute. Let me draw it on the PDF itself. Okay. देखो, two possibilities are there. ठीक है, this one you either know the answer, tick. यहाँ पे you don't know the answer. I mean, you know the passage, you have no clue about the passage. Second, you have some idea about the passage, you have thorough idea of the passage. ठीक है, अभी देखते जाओ ये कितना relevant है ये chart. This may look like a scribbling to you, but it is actually pretty much relevant. Even if you don't know the passage, you will read the questions. You have zero idea about the questions. Now let us go through it. Now for the first set, let's say आपको पैसेज के बारे में पता था. ठीक है, अब क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 देखते हैं कि who assumed the president in Sri Lanka after Gotabaya Rajpaksha. ठीक है, अब ये आंसर तो अगर आप इसमें फॉल कर रहे हो ना, इस कैटेगरी में, कि you know the passage, you should know this. I mean it's very very easy question. बट अगर आप इस कैटेगरी में फॉल कर रहे हो ना, तो आपको ये तो नहीं मिलेगा. अगर आपको बिल्कुल ये पैसेज के बारे में पता ही नहीं है, तो ये क्वेश्चन तो आपको स्किप ही करना है. ठीक है, सो ड्रॉप योर आंसर्स. वेरी इजी क्वेश्चन. अगर आपको नहीं ये पैसेज पढ़ा है तो एवर यू हैव सम आइडिया अबाउट इट. ऑप्शन ए इज द राइट आंसर. यस, so for the very first time he has become the president, but I think in 2019 when he came up with the 13th amendment. ओके, अब तुम्हें मैं क्या बोलूं, छोड़ो, भी समझ में नहीं आएगा अगर नहीं पढ़ा होगा. 13 अमेंडमेंट शायद पढ़ा होगा आपने श्रीलंका का. ठीक है, तो इस टाइम पे ये प्राइम मिनिस्टर हुआ करते थे. सो 2.1 इज ए. अगेन द पॉइंट व्हिच आई एम ट्राइंग टू हियर टू मेक इज कि अभी आप इस कैटेगरी में फॉलो कर रहे हो. 2.2 पढ़ते हैं. ठीक है, इन 2021 श्रीलंका पास्ड द कंट्रोवर्शियल कोलंबो पोर्ट सिटी इकोनॉमिक कमीशन बिल व्हिच अमंग द फॉलोइंग वाज अ की फीचर ऑफ दिस बिल. चलो थोड़ा सा मैं तुम्हें ये बता देता हूँ. देखो, श्रीलंका का कुछ ऐसा सीन है. ठीक है, बहुत गंदी ड्राइंग है मेरी, माफ करना. ये इंडिया है, ये ऐसे है, यहाँ पे आपका साउथ ईस्ट एशियन कंट्रीज है, श्रीलंका आपका यहाँ पे है. ठीक है, अब ये जो पार्ट है ना इंडो पैसिफिक रीजन का, ये जो पार्ट है, ठीक है, पैसिफिक ओशन का, ये बहुत ही क्रूशल है. अगर कैसे बताऊं यार, यहाँ पे मैं इमेज भी नहीं डाल सकता ना, यहाँ पे जस्ट ट्राई टू इमेजिन कि यहाँ पे कहीं इजिप्ट है एंड यू हैव सुएज कैनाल हियर. So the entire oceanic traffic, whatever trade is happening through this, ships go from Suez Canal to the Southeast Asian country, Strait of Malacca, Strait of Malabar. ठीक है, मालाबार कोस्ट है, मलक्का कोस्ट. इस पूरे जर्नी में इट्स अ वेरी बिजी रूट फॉर शिप्स. इट्स पूरे जर्नी में these ships need to dock. These ships need to dock. And Sri Lanka is a very good position for the same. Okay, Sri Lanka is a very good position for the same. Sri Lanka also wants कि it can develop a lot of ports, a lot of seaports. ठीक है, जब आप बड़े बड़े ports बनाओगे, then only big ships can dock at your port ना, you will collect revenue. अब देखो, कहीं भी आप घूमने जाते हो, ठीक है, whenever you go out to have fun, if you have a car or a bike, your dad or mom would park that particular vehicle. So the person who's having that land will charge something, right? तो ये सीन है. तो श्रीलंका अगर पोर्ट्स बनाएंगे तो आपको अलाउ करेगा. फॉर दैट दे पास दिस कोलंबो पोर्ट सिटी इकोनॉमिक कमीशन बिल. अब इसमें पूछ रहे हैं कि कौन सा की फीचर है. अगेन इस क्राइटेरिया में आए ना भैया, अगर आप इस वाले क्राइटेरिया में आए तो आप ये आंसर नहीं कर सकते अभी भी. आप इस क्राइटेरिया में आओगे, स्पेसिफिकली इस क्राइटेरिया में आओगे जहां पे आपको इसके बारे में पता होगा, देन ओनली यू वुड बी एबल टू आंसर दिस. So shoot the answers whoever knows. Let's try to read, okay? It banned Bangladeshi ships from entering its ports. So मतलब इसको तो आप exclude नहीं कर सकते, but सुनने में ही rubbish है. It introduced a draconian taxation policy. No. It promoted the Colombo port city to be a special economic zone to attract foreign investment. तो अभी जितनी भी राम गाथा मैंने सुनाई ना, whatever I just told you, this actually adds up, You see what they're trying to make? They're trying to attract foreign investment. By doing what? By making the port city a special economic zone, and that is what the answer is. Again, you wouldn't have been able to answer this without knowing the passage. अब देखो, अब यहाँ पे सीन चेंज होता है. Now this is what I wanted to tell you guys. एक सेकेंड देखो कहाँ गए. Question number 3 is where game changes. Now it says, which of the following is the most exported item from Sri Lanka? Can anyone hear, sir? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
हाँ जी, तो आपके ऑडियो में कोई इश्यू होगा, फिर देख लीजिएगा आप, ठीक है. तो which of these is the most exported item from Sri Lanka? Now this is not related to this economic crisis. Okay, the entire crisis. So now the chart becomes relevant for us. Okay, so even if you know about the economic crisis, even if you're falling in this category, it is not 2.2 का आंसर C है, पृथ्वा. So this is what I was trying to tell you, that even if you fall under this category or this category, this is not sufficient. ठीक है, आपको अब ये नहीं पूछ रहा क्वेश्चन कि भाई इकोनॉमिक क्राइसिस के बारे में क्या है. इट इज टॉकिंग अबाउट द मोस्ट एक्सपोर्टेड आइटम. ओके, आई एग्री दैट इट इज समवॉट रिलेटेड टू इकोनॉमिक्स, ठीक है, टू एन एक्सटेंट, बट यू कैन आंसर दिस. ठीक है, शायद अगर आपने 9th की ज्योग्राफी की बुक भी अच्छे से पढ़ी होगी ना, बट अगेन दैट्स अ वेरी स्टैटिक डेटा विच यू हैड देयर. डेटा बहुत डायनेमिक है, ये चेंज होता रहता है, बट अगेन थोड़ा आइडिया तो आपको होता है. ठीक है, तो ये उसके उस तरीके से भी आंसर होगा. आई टेल यू दिस चार्ट अभी लास्ट क्वेश्चन में, बहुत मजा आएगा. 2.3 इज टेक्सटाइल. ओके, बहुत कंफ्यूजिंग है. यूजुअली पीपल थिंक कि ये रबर या टी होगा, रबर या टी होगा. यूजुअली पीपल थिंक दैट इट वुड बी रबर और टी, एंड बांग्लादेश इज द ओनली कंट्री विच एक्चुअली एक्सपोर्ट्स अ लॉट ऑफ टेक्सटाइल रिलेटेड वर्क, बट श्रीलंका का मोस्ट एक्सपोर्टेड आइटम टेक्सटाइल है. ठीक है, देन आई थिंक इट इज फॉलोड बाई टी एंड देन इट इज रबर. कोकोनट ऑयल का तो मैंने सुना नहीं है. इट इज मोस्ट प्रॉब्ली टेक्सटाइल, देन टी, देन रबर. ठीक है, अब देखो फोर्थ क्वेश्चन देखो, 2.4. अगेन सच अ क्वेश्चन. Which Sri Lanka author was awarded the Booker Prize in 2022? So even if you know about the economic crisis, even if you fall in this category, this question is not related to that. Even if you fall under this category, you have no clue about economic crisis in Sri Lanka, but if you have done thoroughly the Booker's Prize, okay, which we have done, okay, if you've done thoroughly the Booker's Prize, you would be able to answer this question. So you understand what I'm trying to tell you. The key takeaway is that you know the passage or you don't know the passage, consortium will put questions like these, that even if you fall under this category, there's a very good chance that you can mark the right answers. So you read each and every possible question right there. No matter you have no clue about the passage. Okay, ठीक है, कुछ नहीं पता, but I will read the question. अगर आपको ये पता है कि किसने ये जीता है, तो ये श्रीलंकन ऑथर था, उसकी जरूरत ही नहीं है आपको जानने की. ठीक है, आपको बस बुकर प्राइस पे काम हो जाता. ठीक है. 2.4, it's B. I think he won it for the book Seven Moons of Mali. The book was based on the LTT and the government civil war, I think of 89 and 91. Yeah. Okay. It's a very good book. I haven't read it, but a person has recommended me, and I know that person for sure that it would be a good book. अब लास्ट क्वेश्चन देखते हैं. इस पे तो पूरा एप्लीकेबल हो रहा है वो चार्ट. देखो क्वेश्चन पूछ क्या रहा है. हाउ मेनी टाइम्स हैज श्रीलंकन क्रिकेट टीम रीच द वर्ल्ड कप फाइनल्स? Now you guys tell me, is it even remotely connected to Sri Lanka's economy or the economic crisis?
No, sir.
No.
Not at all, right? That is what I'm saying. Do not limit yourself to this. Okay, do not. आप कोई भी टॉपिक कितना भी कर लो, ठीक है, लास्ट ईयर के क्लैट के बाद, स्पेशली लास्ट ईयर के क्लैट के बाद, यू कांट बी श्योर. ठीक है, अभी जैसे चंद्रयान हो रहा है, आई थिंक बोथ आई टॉट चंद्रयान टू बोथ द बैचेस, ऑनलाइन ऑफलाइन सबको पढ़ाया था मैंने चंद्रयान, राइट?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, 2.3C. Okay, so remember what we did in Chandrayaan. We did all the Chandrayaan missions. We did the Luna missions. We did the Apollo missions. We did the Artemis Accords. Okay, we are also doing Chang'e missions, Hakuto R missions. Okay, these 7 lunar missions we finished. Because we know that कि अगर वो चंद्रयान पूछेंगे तो वो कुछ उससे कनेक्टेड भी पूछ सकते हैं. अब जैसे क्या है, ये क्वेश्चन कितना ही फार फेस्ट है एज कंपेयर टू द इकोनॉमिक क्राइसिस, तो भाई तुमको इस कैटेगरी के अंडर भी अगर आप पढ़ते हो, इवन यू फॉल अंडर दिस कैटेगरी, दैट यू हैव जीरो क्लू अबाउट द पैसेज, एंड विच आई विल टेल यू, आई विल बी ब्रूटली ऑनेस्ट इन फ्रंट ऑफ यू ऑल, व्हेन आई रोट माय पेपर, जीके वाज द वर्स्ट पॉसिबल सेक्शन फॉर मी. The questions were not known to me. The majority of the passages were not known to me. I was disheartened when I saw the paper. But then when I started solving the paper, even without having a clue about the passage, I was able to solve good chunk of questions. 2 questions, 3 questions each. Her passage mein. So you understand, you try to employ this technique inside while solving mocks. It is very much important. अब देखो क्या कहता है, हाउ मेनी टाइम्स श्रीलंकन क्रिकेट टीम रीच द वर्ल्ड कप फाइनल. तो यार एक तो देखो सबको पता है 2011, ठीक है, नहीं पता है तो फिर आई विल जज यू गाइस. ओके, आई एम अ हार्डकोर रग्बी फैन, फुटबॉल फैन, एमएमए फैन, बट इतना मुझे पता है कि व्हेन वी प्लेड दिस 2011 का फाइनल, वी वर प्लेइंग अगेंस्ट श्रीलंका. Then I think in 1996 का वर्ल्ड कप they were finalists, and 2007 के वर्ल्ड कप में भी they were finalists. So total of 3 times they were finalists. Any cricket fan would know. I'm not one of those. B is the right answer to the question. तो you understand, ठीक है, ये भी करना है एंड 2 पैसेजेस को कनेक्ट करना है. ठीक है, अभी जैसे वर्ल्ड कप इंपॉर्टेंट है, ठीक है, तो दे कैन एक्चुअली डू दिस. कोई जियोपॉलिटिकल इशू उठाएंगे एंड देन दे विल कनेक्ट यू. ओके, इंग्लैंड का एफटीए साइन हो, यूके का एफटीए साइन हो रहा है इंडिया से, ठीक है, यूके वर्ल्ड कप में कितनी बार जीता है, वर्ल्ड कप इज ऑल्सो रेलिवेंट, द एफटीए इज ऑल्सो रेलिवेंट. दे विल कनेक्ट द टॉपिक. सिमिलरली इंडिया हैज साइंड द आर्टेमिस अकॉर्ड्स ड्यूरिंग द प्राइम मिनिस्टर्स विजिट. ओके, आर्टेमिस के अंडर देयर आर 3 मिशंस, ठीक है, लूनर मिशंस हैं. कौन सा पहला लूनर मिशन था पूरे इंटायर प्लैनेट का? दैट वाज लूना, नॉट अपोलो. ठीक है, अपोलो प्रोग्राम. सो दे विल कनेक्ट दीज टॉपिक्स. सो ऑलवेज मेंटेन अ वेरी ब्रॉडर व्यू. ओके, राइट नाउ इट इज बहुत ज्यादा अबाउट योर डेप्थ, स्पेशली आफ्टर योर लास्ट ईयर्स क्लैट. The section has become extremely difficult to score well, and that is also a beauty of this section. Okay, you can actually ace this examination by margin if you ace this section. You need to have that thorough analysis. So you need good grasp over 300 topics minimum. एंड जो भी 300 टॉपिक करो उसमें से कम 70-80 मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक्स ऐसे होने चाहिए जिसका यू नो नॉर्थ ईस्ट वेस्ट साउथ एवरीथिंग, just like Chandrayaan, okay, just like prime minister's visit to USA, then Egypt, then France. So most of you would restrict yourself to USA's visit, but then what about his subsequent Egypt visit? What about his subsequent French visit? You need to do everything when it's a very important topic.
Oh.
And yes,
सर एग्जाम के कितने दिन पहले तक का जीके वी नीड टू नो?
सेफ साइड के लिए यार ऑफलाइन पेपर है, 3rd को एग्जाम है ना आपका, इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग, 3rd दिसंबर।
यस सर, यस सर।
तो ऑफलाइन पेपर है ना, तो आप 27-28 तक का तो कर लेना नवंबर, ठीक है?
Okay,
क्योंकि आई थिंक क्लैट 2021 में जून के लास्ट या जुलाई के फर्स्ट वीक में कैबिनेट को रीशफल किया था, ठीक है? कैबिनेट रीशफलिंग टुक प्लेस एंड देयर वाज अ क्वेश्चन ऑन दिस, अपडेटेड क्वेश्चन। सो आप ध्यान देना, ठीक है? नवंबर तक कर लेना, ठीक है?
ओके सर।
हाँ, और मेरे क्या टेकअवेज हैं जीके सेक्शन से? और तो कुछ खास नहीं है यार, ठीक है? मैंने बोला था मतलब इस सेक्शन में मुझे ज्यादा पता नहीं चल पाया ये एनालिसिस करके। तो क्लियर एवरीवन? ओके,
Sir, like we need to know like the last 12 months current affairs, right, for GK?
yes, yes, yes. From Jan you should, okay?
Okay.
At least do the sheets.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. But sir, this passage is from 2022. Is it because
Yes.
it's just a sample, or can we expect like questions from 2022 to come?
No, 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 no. It would be futile on your part to do 2022 ka GK. Trust me.
Okay,
Okay,
sir.
because
Okay, sir.
you
Thank you.
already
Yeah.
have a lot to cover here. अगर आप 2022 का Pandora box open करोगे, you will see that okay, I have like at least bare minimum 100 more topics to cover, and that is not at all. No. Even if they ask you something like this now, the return on your investment wouldn't be high. For like just one passage, you would do hundreds of them, and I don't think that's at all required. No, you restrict yourself from Jan to November. That's all. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Cool. All right, we'll proceed to another section today. It's already 10. I'll just do one more section for you guys. Let's go with QT.
बैकलॉग
What do
कैसे
you guys
खत्म
think?
करें?
Yes, sorry.
तो बैकलॉग तो पुराना वाला जीके बहुत भरा पड़ा है। फिर जनवरी फरवरी ये सब जो
यार
हो चुका है, लेकिन अप्रैल और मई ऐसे बहुत सारे ड्यू पड़े हैं।
यार देखो, ये ना बहुत ही उम्दा सवाल है आपका, ठीक है? I'll tell you guys. So right now it's time that so I think it's August. You at this point of time, if you're serious about this examination, you should be thorough with GK, English and legal. ठीक है? इतना तो आपका हो जाना चाहिए था, नहीं तो आपको मिड सितंबर तक you should be thorough with the theory of all these three subjects. Okay? Now coming to legal, you at least give, sorry, GK, you at least give 4 hours to GK if you have backlog per day. Okay, 4 hours to GK per day. Exactly, you heard me right. Your 2 hours should go in doing the current affair wala part and revision. At this point of time, you should be revising every single topic which you have done as of now. If you are done with 150 topics, you should at least revise 50 every single day. It used to take me around 3 hours to just revise. ठीक है? And you will see कि 1 या 2 हफ्ते बाद आपको वो 50 टॉपिक रिवाइज करने में बहुत कम टाइम लगेगा, चीजें याद हो जाएंगी. So plan your day accordingly. 4.5 hours you should give to GK, of which 2.5 hours should go to reading new current affairs and revision. Revision is the most important thing. Then the remaining 2 hours you are going to do the backlog part, and you are also going to revise that. Okay, so आप current को भी लेके चलोगे, backlog को भी लेके चलोगे. See, I'll tell you, it's not something which is not doable for now. Okay, first of all, you do only the sheet वाला part. ठीक है? आपको जो भी teachers ने sheet दी होगी, I will you can just drop a text on what I think I'll share it all on the group itself. Okay, आप वो करो सबसे पहले सारा पार्ट बैकलॉग का, ठीक है? मेरी शीट्स में आई थिंक वर्ड फाइल होती है, तो यू कैन फिगर आउट द डेट ऑन विच इट वाज क्रिएटेड. सो यू एटलीस्ट डू दैट पार्ट, एवरी सिंगल थिंग. You revise it daily, you revise the current affairs, you revise it daily, you do the current too. So आप दोनों को you have to proceed simultaneously. then only there will be a point that you would converge and your backlog would be clear, and then you'll just have to revise and do current affairs. Is that clear? There's no
Yes, sir.
shortcut to it, not that I know of. Honestly, I'm not the right guy for shortcuts. Maths ka, if you'd ask me, I know a lot of short tricks. They also require hard work, okay? If I were to be your QT teacher, the first 5 classes would go in you memorizing the table, multiplication, products till 25, squares till 20, cubes till 20. That would be the first 5 classes for me. Okay. But nonetheless, you haven't got me as your QT teacher, so that's also a good thing for you. आपको ये नहीं करना पड़ा. चलो, let's go with QT also, okay? Last thing. QT, cool? सबको डर देता है सब्जेक्ट, बट आज इसको भी मस्त, इसमें भी कुछ खास था नहीं यार, मेरे को ना बहुत ज्यादा मिला नहीं. देखो, मैं इंग्लिश और सीआर इसलिए नहीं उठा रहा हूँ बिकॉज दैट इज समथिंग योर रिस्पेक्टिव फैकल्टीज विल टेक. आई कैन जस्ट डिस्कस अपॉन देम थोड़ा बहुत. आई विल नॉट सॉल्व द क्वेश्चंस, ओके? QT is something which I have good grasp. Like I myself did National Defense Academy examination and I scored really well in the quant section especially. I can teach you guys this. Cool. Let's start with QT then. Everyone ready? Can I have thumbs up, please?
Yes, sir.
अब देखो. When I read this question, I understood one thing for sure, that QT is something which is not gonna be very difficult. Okay. Going by the trend of consortium, and even in this passage, see, my understanding of QT is thoda limited right now because I'm not practicing this subject. Okay. But I feel like कि आपका ये क्वेश्चन कौन सा क्वेश्चन है यार, एक सेकेंड मेरे को पढ़ने दीजिए. हाँ, ये वाला. I feel like this question is incorrect. I'm not sure whether the consortium has released an answer key for this sample paper or not, but answer they have given something, and I feel like this question is incorrect. So we can deduce the answer, but there is a possibility of the answer being D. I think they've given it as C, most probably. तो ये एक बार आप अपने QT टीचर से पूछना इसको, इनको सॉल्व करने के लिए. Okay. Obviously I can also.
इसका आंसर सी होगा.
Anushka, I understand your point. I was solving this question actually, and I also came at C, but there is a very easy possibility that option D is also correct answer. But again, I can also be correct because I haven't done QT for a long, long period of time. So you just cross check the same with your quant faculty. Second, in your actual examination, be prepared, be very, very, very prepared that you will get incorrect questions in the QT section. There's a very good chance, okay? I mean, a very good chance that you will get at least 2 to 3 incorrect questions in a QT section. Also be assured that those 2 to 3 incorrect questions will have correct answers as per the consortium. After your exam, what happens ki, they release a provisional answer key the same day your exam is done. The same day your exam is conducted, they will release an answer key. Upon that answer key, you will see कि अच्छा इसको ये तो क्वेश्चन ही गलत है, इसका आंसर कैसे निकाल दिया. ठीक है, आप मेरे पास मैसेज करोगे. आई एम सर्टेन, आई ऑल्सो डिड द सेम. ठीक है. अब नेक्स्ट थिंग क्या होगी, you will have an opportunity to vote against that question. The consortium will charge you a fee of 1,000 rupees, then you can go against that question, and then ऐसा होगा कि देखा जाएगा, they will probably change the answer or they will cancel out the question. They will cancel out the question most probably. But ऐसा होता है ना कि हर बार ऐसा होता है कि 2 से 3 गलतियां होती हैं. ठीक है. एंड इन 2 से 3 गलतियों में एक मुश्किल से कैंसिल होता है, इन में से 2 तो रहता ही रहता है. तो whenever you solve the question, even if you feel कि okay, on this ground this question is गलत, ठीक है, which I felt about question 5.5, but in actuality you, just like Anushka, I also came at conclusion कि okay, 11 can also be correct. C is the right answer. Do not refrain from marking C. Do not refrain from marking C. Do not refrain. I emphasize on this. I'll tell you, in my examination there were 15 questions in QT. an entire set was incorrect because of a misprint. ठीक है, because of a misprint. ठीक है, entire set incorrect था. However, I solved everything, and some of the test takers did not. I got a +5 in that passage and they didn't. Now guys, I'm being honest with you, it was unjust. It was not just on their part, okay? ये जिसको आता था, and those who thought, okay, the question itself is wrong, I should skip this, they were also not incorrect from their point of view, okay? But ऐसा नहीं हुआ, आपको 5 नंबर दिए, मुझे 5 नंबर मिले, and the same happened in 2022 also. So be thoroughly prepared for this, okay? Be thoroughly prepared. Yes?
And one who have not marked the answer, they will also get or they will not get.
No. They will not get the right. They will not get the +5. That is the point. कि जो आपको closest लग रहा है ना, sir can QT be skipped? No. So one more thing, guys. अब देखो, पहले क्या होता था? आपके पास 150 questions होते थे. ठीक है? You had 150 questions. ठीक है? Out of these 150 questions, you had 120 minutes. Am I right? सही बोल रहा हूँ ना मैं?
Yes,
तो
sir.
आपको एक क्वेश्चन पे आई थिंक आपको 1 मिनट में 1.25 क्वेश्चंस मिल रहे थे, कुछ ऐसा सीन था. ठीक है, एक क्वेश्चन पे 1 मिनट नहीं मिल रहा था आपको. ठीक है, इस सिनेरियो में बहुत लोग क्या करते थे, 3 सेट होता था क्यूटी का, उसमें से सोच के आते थे कि आई जस्ट डू 1 or 2, दैट इज व्हाट इज रिक्वायर्ड. अब देखो व्हाई क्यूटी हैज बिकम what should I say, indispensable for this examination. Now you are getting 120 minutes for 120 questions. अब आपको ये 30 क्वेश्चंस का जो बफर है, ठीक है, ये 30 क्वेश्चंस का जो बफर है ये ज्यादा मिल रहा है. यू आर गेटिंग एटलीस्ट 18 more minutes compared to the no, even 18 is correct. You're getting at least 25 more minutes considered to the previous examination. At this point of time, you would be able to thoroughly solve all the questions because that is what you've been practicing for. And now जो लोग सोचते थे कि 3 में से 2 सेट कर लेंगे ना, they will have to do the entire set thoroughly because obviously you're getting more time. What will you do of that time? आप लीगल में अपनी थोड़ी सी स्पीड थोड़ी सी स्पीड घटा सकते हो. ठीक है, मे बी यू इन्वेस्टेड 5 more minutes in legal. ठीक है, 5 more minutes in legal. You invested 7 more minutes in logic and English. ठीक है, 12 हो गया. GK में 5 more minutes. Still you are getting a buffer of 7 minutes. Extra time का करोगे क्या? So every single candidate will now be thinking, okay, bhai, now I have extra time. I have to do this section. I have the time. Due to which, ठीक है, मेरे को लगता था कि टाइम कम है तो QT में टाइम ज्यादा लगता है, एक्यूरेसी कम है, I should leave this section. But right now you have time in your hand. What will you do of it, boy? What will you do of it? That is the question. That is why this section becomes extremely important for you. Now you can't choose to skip it. Earlier also, there was zero chance. ठीक है, मैं बताता हूँ, अगर QT नहीं होता ना आज मैं नहीं होता यहाँ पे. 14 questions, so 15 were there, out of which 1 question was incorrect. I got 14 on 14 in just 12 minutes. Now I will not be, dishonest with you all because I was preparing for NDA. I had good grasp for maths. It did help me a lot. Okay, बहुत ज़्यादा मेरे को कैलकुलेशन बहुत easy थी मेरे लिए. But उस टाइम पे पूरे केसलेट्स दिए थे कंसोर्टियम ने for the very first time and a lot of students were afraid of caselets. उनको लगता था ग्राफ में आया ही नहीं है तो छोड़ देते हैं. And that is what happened. What I did in caselets का मैंने ग्राफ बना लिया and I solved them. And that is the only reason I'm here. So you understand, guys, even if you don't know the basics, please, as of this moment itself, you start with the basics. You can't skip this question. I hope the person who asked me this, I've given you 2 factual arguments, and one is a very important one that now you have extra time in your hand. You can't choose to skip it. Chalo. Sir, even with cutoff included, how much should we aim for in total for NUJ? So Okay, again, I will not be very diplomatic with this. I'll give you a straightforward answer. तो I'll give you general का first. ठीक है, जनरल में अगर मॉडरेटली डिफिकल्ट पेपर आता है तो स्कोर ऑफ 93, 92 to 95, I think that should land NUJS for you all. Okay, if that's what you're aiming. And I think anything till NLIU is very, very good. If you have a rank till say, अब आपके टाइम पे तो CLAT में बहुत expansion हो गया है. Analyst has increased its batch size. NALSAR has also increased its batch size. You have बहुत ज़्यादा seats I think adding up. So आपके में ये change होगा cut off. ठीक है, तो ये ध्यान रखना. You have this advantage. When I was the case, it was not there. Anyway, let's go to the question first and let's just finish it out. ठीक है, इसको तो मैं टेक्स्ट के फॉर्म में ही लिख देता हूँ फटाफट. All right. Smita purchased some rulers, notebooks, pens for her younger siblings. ठीक है, क्या क्या दिया है आपको? ठीक है, केसलेट दिया है आपको. क्या है? She is purchasing what? She is purchasing rulers, notebooks, and pens for her younger siblings. She had to buy at least 10 pieces of each items. ठीक है? In a way, अब यहां से you are giving conditions that the number of notebooks brought be more than the number of pens. ठीक है, notebooks will always be more than number of pens, which is more than the number of rulers. Okay, pen क्या होगा? रूलर से ज्यादा होगा. ठीक है, ठीक है. She purchased a total of 38 items. तो n plus p plus r क्या होगा? 38. Not more than 38, not less than 38. Again, go through the question. She is purchasing notebook, pens and rulers. ठीक है, thus minimum she has to buy 10 of each and every item. Minimum she has to buy 10 of each and every item, which means that n can never be less than 10. It will be either equal और n तो होगा भी, बट ठीक है चलो, मतलब समझ लो कि ये सब हमेशा 10 होंगे मिनिमम से मिनिमम. n will always be 10 if not more. P will always be 10 if not more. R will always be 10 if not more. And N will notebook हमेशा पेन से ज्यादा होगी जो रूलर से ज्यादा होगा. यहां तक क्लियर है सबको?
Yes, sir.
देखो, जिसको नहीं आ रहा बता देना. ठीक है, मैं मैथ्स पहली बार पढ़ा रहा हूं आपको. अब देखो, अब क्वेश्चन क्या कहता है, बहुत इजी है. ठीक है, इसमें सेट्स बना लो. तो इसको मैं तुम्हें समझाने का बहुत इजी मेथड बताता हूं. तो कोई फॉर्मूला नहीं लगाना, कुछ नहीं लगाना, बहुत बेसिक क्वेश्चन है. तुम सेटिंग बैठाते जाओ. अब देखो, मिनिमम 10 होना चाहिए. देखो, रूलर से हमेशा पेन ज्यादा होगी. रूलर मिनिमम कितना हो सकता है? सबसे व्हाट इज द मिनिमम पॉसिबल नंबर फॉर रूलर्स? 10.
10.
You put 10 here. Okay. अब pen will always be greater than, number of pens will always be greater than that of number of rulers. ठीक है, तो you put what? 11 here. You put what? 11 here. Now total number is what? 38. Total number is 38. So 10 plus 11 add करो 21. इसमें सब सब्ट्रैक्ट कर दो 17. देखो, अब देखो तुम्हारी तीनों क्राइटेरिया फुलफिल हो रहे हैं कि नहीं? नंबर ऑफ नोटबुक्स, इट इज ग्रेटर देन नंबर ऑफ पेन. नंबर ऑफ पेन इज ग्रेटर देन नंबर ऑफ रूलर्स. ऑल क्लियर? सही है. दिस इज पॉसिबिलिटी नंबर 1. देखो, मैं बताते क्या जा रहा हूं, भी सब समझ जाओगे. ठीक है, सब समझ जाओगे, बहुत आराम से समझोगे. नेक्स्ट पॉसिबिलिटी, नंबर ऑफ रूलर्स सबसे कम क्या हो सकते हैं? 10. ठीक है, अगेन अब हमने 11 ले लिया था. लेट अस इंक्रीज दिस टू व्हाट? 12. लेट अस इंक्रीज दिस टू 12. ठीक है, इफ वी इंक्रीज दिस टू 12, दिस विल रिड्यूस. What are we doing? We are increasing one number here, reducing one notebook. We will put 16 here. Is this clear, everyone?
Okay.
Come on, नहीं आ रहा तो you can speak, okay? नहीं आ रहा you can speak, but
So
tell me.
here in the second possibility is 10 or 11.
10 only, because if we are to put it 11, okay? अभी हम आएंगे, उस पे भी आएंगे. Let us first finish 10 वाली possibilities. So we will finish every single possibility and then we'll solve the questions.
Okay.
ठीक है, अब देखो, अब इसको अगर हम 10 करते हैं, ठीक है. Next is we'll make this 10. We'll make the 12 13. Okay. This will become what? This will become 15. Everyone with me now? Cool. अब next possibility पे आओ. We keep this 10. We make this 14. We make this 14. What does this one becomes? What does this one becomes? Number of notebooks. Yes, Kaushik, it would become 14. Now, is this allowed? What does your question says?
No,
Notebooks will
no.
always be greater than pens. So this is not working. Okay, तो अब ये खत्म हो गया. इसको हमने निकाल दिया यहाँ से. यहाँ तक क्लियर है सबको? Yes. अब देखो there is another possibility which one of you mentioned, that why can't we increase the number of rulers? So let's do that. What's wrong with that? हमने इसको क्या कर दिया 11. अगर हमने इसको 11 कर दिया, pen will always be greater than that of ruler. We'll have to make this what? 12. Right? If this is 12, this is 11, this goes what? 23. 38 minus 23, it would be 15. Now let's go back to the conditions. Notebooks 15, pen 12, ruler 11. This is greater than this is greater than this. All clear. सही है, ये भी possibility है. Okay, now let's increase this. Let's make this 12. If we make this 12, this will also increase. We increase it by 13. This becomes what? This becomes 14. Clear? यहाँ तक clear है? सही है ना? देखो n जाता है p से. बोलो 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 क्या हुआ? Yes. You add this things up. अगर ये आपने यहाँ पे एक बढ़ाया, यहाँ पे एक बढ़ाया, तो यहाँ पे भी 38 से ज्यादा हो गया ना ये. This is not more than 30. It has to be, total number of items should be what? 38. You add these 14 plus.
39.
Yeah, it's 39. So we will stop here. We will stop here. Now we have made a graph for us with every single possible outcome. Understood what I was trying to tell you guys? I think we are left with one. I think we are left with one. Yeah, we are probably left with one. I think it will be somewhat like if we keep this 11, okay, and we make this 13, okay, and we make this 14. This is also possible, right? 14 notebooks greater than 13 pens greater than 11 rulers. Understood?
Yes.
Understood, guys? Everyone, I'm asking every single one of you, asking the same question.
Yes,
Clear
sir.
hai na?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Now we have every possible thing. अब देखो तुम इससे ज्यादा कुछ बना ही नहीं सकते. सोच के देख लो. ये 10 से नम कभी जाएगा ही नहीं. ठीक है, 10 से कम ही कभी जा ही नहीं सकता. ऑल राइट, देखो कितना इजी है. इसको तुम यहाँ कहीं भी 12 ले जाओगे, इसमें से कहीं भी 12 ले जाते, सेटिंग बैठती ही नहीं. सो यू कांट डू दैट. ठीक है, सो यू हैव एवरीथिंग प्रिपेयर्ड. नाउ लेट अस जस्ट गो टू द क्वेश्चंस. What is the maximum number of rulers that Smita could have bought? Rulers are R, 10, 10, 10, 11, 11. So what would be the answer?
11.
11. You go with option B. देखो कितना easy है, बहुत आराम से होगा. If the number of pens cannot be divided among equally among 4 persons, how many pens did she purchase? देखो बहुत easy question है यार ये तो. उन केसेस को उठाना है जो 4 लोगों में इक्वली डिवाइड नहीं हो सकता. ठीक है, अब देखो 1 मिनट में बताता हूँ. देखो क्या कहता है क्वेश्चन. नंबर ऑफ पेन्स उन केसेस में जहां पे इट कैन नॉट बी इक्वली डिवाइडेड अमंग 4. अब देखो यू हैव 16 फोर्स, you have 16 pens, you can divide it by 4. 16 by 4 is what? 4, right? However, say you have 17 pens, can you divide 17 pens in 4 people equally? ना
No, sir.
एक डेसिमल के बाद वैल्यू आएगी इस आंसर की. ठीक है, डेसिमल के बाद एक वैल्यू आएगी यहाँ पे. सो यू कांट डू दैट, राइट? You can't do that. So what the question asks you, if the number of pens cannot be divided, how many pens did she purchase? तो देखो कौन कौन से केस में डिवाइड नहीं हो सकती. 16 में डिवाइड हो सकती है. ठीक है, एंड 14 में डिवाइड हो सकती है।
नोटबुक एंड पेन।
अच्छा पेन की बात हो रही, सॉरी पेन की बात हो रही, सॉरी। देखो 12 भी एक ऐसा केस है जहां पे वो डिवाइड हो सकता है, ठीक है। सिर्फ 12 भी एक ऐसा केस है जहां पे वो इक्वली डिवाइड हो सकता है 4 लोगों में। सो इट कुड बी 11, इट कुड बी 13। You understood what I'm trying to say? The question asks you, I'll repeat myself, okay? It cannot be divided among 4. ऐसा जितना भी केस होगा जहां पे ये 4 लोगों में इक्वली डिवाइड नहीं होगी, तो कितने पेन लिए उसने? इस केस में अगर देखें जहां पे 11 आ रहा है, दिस इज ऑल्सो कैन नॉट बी डिवाइडेड बिटवीन 4 पीपल। जहां 13 आ रहा है, दिस ऑल्सो कैन नॉट बी डिवाइडेड बिटवीन 4 पीपल। सो देर आर 2 पॉसिबिलिटीज। क्या क्या आंसर होगा 5.2 का?
cannot be determined.
या
Cannot be determined.
एग्जैक्टली। अब देखते हैं, इफ ईच रूलर कॉस्ट 5 रुपीज, ईच पेन 3 रुपीज, ईच नोटबुक 15 रुपीज, व्हाट इज द मैक्सिमम अमाउंट दैट स्मिता कुड हैव स्पेंट? अब देखो, आई विल बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट विथ यू ऑल, ठीक है। एक एग्जांपल समझते हैं। योर मॉम टेल्स यू कि सबसे महंगी चीज, सबसे ज्यादा पैसा खरीदो, सबसे ज्यादा पैसा वेस्ट करो। यू विल बाय द मोस्ट एक्सपेंसिव आइटम, राइट? You will buy the most expensive item. That is the thumb hand rule. If you want to spend cash, you would buy the most expensive item. We have to answer what? We have to answer what is the maximum amount that Smita could have spent. Maximum amount. अब देखो maximum amount क्या होगा? जो सबसे महंगा होगा। सबसे पहले तो we need to understand which is the costliest. नोटबुक का कॉस्ट कितना है? 15। अब 15 है इसका कॉस्ट, तो किस केस में नोटबुक सबसे ज्यादा महंगी है? किस केस में नोटबुक सबसे ज्यादा महंगी है? फर्स्ट केस में नोटबुक सबसे ज्यादा है, 17 है। 17 नोटबुक को हमने 15 रुपीज के रेट से खरीदा, तो ऑब्वियस सी बात, देखो इसमें कितना, 5 रुपए 3 रुपए। पेन कितने रुपए की है? 3 रुपए की। तो हमने ये खरीदी पेन, 11 पेन खरीदी 3 रुपए की, रूलर खरीदे 5 रुपए के 10, बट हमने नोटबुक खरीदे टोटल 17। समझ रहे हो कितना डिफरेंस है इसके प्राइस में? सो सबसे ज्यादा नोटबुक जिस भी केस में आप खरीदोगे, वो आपका राइट आंसर होगा। सो लेट्स सॉल्व दिस। 17 into 15, आई थिंक 225, देन 3 into 11, 33, 10 into 5, 50, 255, 338। समझ रहे हो क्या कह रहा हूं मैं कि नहीं आ रहा? हाँ जी।
Sir, can you explain this once again?
Yes, I'll explain it to you. So suppose the question asks you ki tell me what is the maximum amount that Smita could have spent, right? That is what the question asks you. Now you see, the costliest of these as per the question is what? Answer me. What, how much it costs? 15. So if you want to splurge the maximum amount of money, which of these instruments you would buy सबसे ज्यादा? If you have to spend maximum amount of money, right? Think, listen to me, it's very easy, math is very easy, just listen to me. कोई you have सबसे ज्यादा खरीदना है, सबसे महंगा, सबसे ज्यादा पैसा खर्चा करना है, ठीक है। इसमें से सबसे महंगा आइटम नोटबुक है, तो अगर सबसे ज्यादा पैसे खर्चे करने हैं तो आप सबसे ज्यादा नोटबुक खरीदोगे ना। यू गेटिंग माई पॉइंट? अब जैसे जैसे आई गिव यू एन एग्जांपल। I tell you कि okay, you have to spend the maximum amount of money you can, ठीक है, and you can buy 100 grams of whatever. So would you buy 100 grams of gold or would you buy 100 grams of silver? Answer me this.
Gold.
Gold only, na? You'll buy. Why? Because gold is costlier than silver. You getting my point? In this case, pen is costing what? 3 rupees. Ruler is costing what? 5 rupees. But notebook costs 15 rupees. तो जिस भी केस में सबसे ज्यादा नोटबुक खरीदी होगी, that is the maximum possible outcome. And in the case 1, we have 17 notebooks. 17 notebooks. So this is the maximum possible amount she can spend as per this pricing. So you can just calculate the price. 17 notebooks, 15 के cost पे, 17 into 15. 11 pens, 3 के cost पे, 11 into 3. 10 ruler, 5 के cost पे, 10 into 5. You add it up, you'll get 338. Now is it clear? To the person who asked? Is clear or not? You'll have to tell me. I will not be satisfied with my performance. नहीं आया अभी भी? फिर बताऊं? I don't know where that person went. चलो कोई बात नहीं, बीच में देख लेंगे. Last देख लेते हैं. What is the maximum number of notebooks she could have purchased? यार इतना easy है. देखो केसलेट बनाया, आंसर आपके सामने है. 17 ना? ऑप्शन सी मार दिया. ये वाला आई एम नॉट डिस्कसिंग, ठीक है. ये वाला अगर आपको जानना होगा तो यू ट्राई सॉल्विंग दिस ऑन योर ओन. इसका स्क्रीनशॉट ले लो पॉसिबिलिटीज का. इसको सॉल्व करना खुद से. फिफ्थ वाला नहीं बनता तो अपने मैम से पूछना, ठीक है. मैम या सर जो भी है वो बताएंगे आपको. मेरा कुछ इस क्वेश्चन से बायस है तो आई विल नॉट. 5.2 का आंसर क्या है? कैन नॉट बी डिटरमाइंड बिकॉज 11 और 13 दोनों आ रहा था. तो देखो यार, इसमें अगर तुम 5-7 मिनट देते ना तो तुम पूरे के 4 नंबर तो आराम से बना सकते हो, ठीक है. तो क्यूटी मत
Sir,
छोड़ो. हाँ जी.
sir, can you please explain number 2 once more? Cannot be
Number
determined
2.
that one.
Okay, I will just
Sir,
explain
for
it.
me it's 12, I guess. When I am, for my logic, it is becoming 12.
Okay, I'll tell you why it's not 12. अब देखो, what does it say? See, I understand how you come to this conclusion. So, if the numbers of pen cannot be divided equally among 4 person, ठीक है. Now you need to find scenarios जहाँ पे number of pens cannot be equally divided between 4 person. If you go with 12, you divide 12 by 4. What answer did you get? What answer do you get? Sorry,
Yeah.
get 3, right? So you can divide 12 pens between 4 persons, 3 pens each. So what does the question ask? Cannot be divided.
Oh, I
Cannot
got,
be
sir. I got,
divided.
sir.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so you
it's
have
11 and
11 and
13,
you have
and those are not in the option.
option, so you will answer D. I don't, so this itself is a wrong,
Yeah.
question, because it says cannot be determined. Now you can easily determine the cases 11 and 13. So the answer
Yes.
should be none of the above. If none of the above is given, that should be the correct answer. It should not be cannot be determined, because you can determine these possibilities. We just did, right? Again, that's the
Yes, sir.
stupidity we do. But अगर ये क्वेश्चन आता ना तो आंसर डी ही लगाते आप, आंसर सही होता, ठीक है. तो छोड़ना मत, इनके गलत क्वेश्चंस रहते हैं, ये ऐसा ही करते हैं हमेशा. 5.1 का क्या आंसर था? व्हाट इज द मैक्सिमम नंबर ऑफ रूलर? ये सामने आपके आंसर यार. आर देखो ना, 11 सबसे ज्यादा है. बी. इज दिस क्लियर एवरीवन?
Yes, sir.
अब देखो,
Yes, sir.
several inputs I have for CR. I'll quickly go through them. Okay. Concepts are very, very important. Okay. This is the only section in the entire sample paper which had 6 questions. Okay. Which had 6 questions. So ध्यान देना. Only passage with 6 questions. So maybe they are planning something that. But I don't think ये कोई rigid rule है, hard and fast. I'm not sure ये actually में follow होगा. Try to connect. ठीक है. अब यार ये ना मैं कभी बाद में बताऊंगा, इसमें मुझे थोड़ा बोलना पड़ेगा आपको. ऐसे रफली बताने का फायदा नहीं है. I'll just tell you one thing. ठीक है. I'll just tell you one thing. कि whenever you guys are reading newspapers or any passage, always make this into your habit that आपके दिमाग में होना चाहिए कि what is the main idea of the author, what is the tone of the author for English, how can you weaken the stance of the author, how can you strengthen the stance of the author. If you have read the statement of S. Jaishankar somewhere that okay, our exports have been all time high, then how can you weaken the stance? You can, so अपने दिमाग में कोई स्टेटमेंट ढूंढो, something like that. Okay, the production in India has increased by 100 times. A statement like this can weaken this. It is a possible weakening statement. I've just made that up. There are flaws in the argument, so don't don't take it seriously. But the point which I'm trying to make is, whenever you are reading a passage, whenever you're reading newspaper, your mind should always hunt for the main idea of the author, the conclusion of the author, the stance of the author, how you can strengthen his argument, how you can weaken this argument. Then only you would be able to answer this. And I'm being very honest with you. If you are thorough with the newspapers, the most amount of benefit you will get would be your critical reasoning sections, because the passages are thoroughly directly taken from these excerpts and you will have sufficient idea about them. It's not like they'll ask you fiction here. They will always ask you something from the news, okay? That is why it becomes extremely important for you. That is the thumb rule for me. That is what I would want to tell you guys. I hope you guys found this class interesting and you guys were able to get something out of it. It was beneficial for you all. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Apart from that, the class is over from my end. But I'm right here if you want to ask something. Thank you so much, guys. Just stay focused. You get like 3 months to go. Give your best. Give it whatever you've got. Just, I'm being very honest, a good life awaits for you. Doesn't matter whether you qualify for a national law school or not. Just do your part, do your duty. That's all I want to say. If your parents have, don't do this for your parents, don't do this for me, don't do this for anyone. Do this for your own pride, for your own self, that you have accomplished something, you beat something. Okay, you beat this mountain. Do this for that. Do this for that feeling of pride. Okay, I'm not asking you to crack this examination, I'm asking you to fulfill your duty. There's a difference in that. Whatever work is given to you, whatever obligations you have, you please fulfill them. You give your best. This is high time you buckle up, guys. If you haven't started, if you haven't done things thoroughly, I am requesting you from the bottom of my heart, give 10 hours a day. Just be unbeatable. Do whatever you can, okay? Please study as much as you can. You take mocks, you solve these questions, you analyze, you read, you revise, you read, you revise, you solve. Live your life with these things, with these, and also take breaks, take good breaks, listen to good music. Okay? अच्छे से करो, meditation करो, घर पे बात करो, हंसो, खेलो. But give like 7-8 hours to this exam. Do it for yourself. Do it for your own pride. A pride is something which I always avoid, but this is something which is your duty and I think you should fulfill it. All right, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Thank you so much, guys. Please take care, okay? Don't stress much. If you're having stress, my WhatsApp number is there. Feel free to approach me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.